Jeff Lebby, Mississippi State head football coach, going to kick it off with us. Heading into year two, from a practice perspective, knowing the players' perspective, what has been better for you as the head coach, outside of just knowing a little bit more about your guys, what you're capable of doing and what you've been able to accomplish? Turn that on.
Oh, yeah.
You got me?
Oh, yeah. Now we're back.
There we go. Yeah, for us, man, being year two, I think that the difficult thing, while it is year two, we still got 80% of our roster that's in year one or two. So as far as knowing the guys, that's still a process. And you know, we've made a huge jump from a depth standpoint, a roster standpoint. We added over 60 guys to the roster. We were able to practice the way we needed to practice this spring. And you brought up practice, Cole. That was something that I talked about a ton. The way we practiced this spring compared to last spring and last fall camp, two completely different things. The way it looked, the way it felt, the physicality, what we were able to get done. We made great strides. And I think that's why we're set up in a better position today than we were a year ago, is because of how we practice this spring and how we're going to be able to practice in fall camp.
How much of that is sort of the minute details of what you do? Mainly a lot of it having to do with tempo. I know it's not the same offense, but I've had some longer conversations with Josh Heupel, and he was like, what you don't understand is telling our receivers how to line up, where to line up. When the play is going to end and they're not getting the football, where to sort of aim to line up for the next play. Which official for the person with the ball to give the ball to. Those aren't normal things for a lot of football players.
Yeah, they're not. And how we teach that, it is a little different. And for me, those details were important, but it was the ability to add 10 guys to the roster in the D-line, to add 10 different second-level players at back.
So you can run inside drill now and not have to worry about it.
And be able to go practice and be able to two-spot some things and be able to get a ton of reps and a ton of work. And we weren't able to get that accomplished with where we were at from a roster standpoint. Again, to me, that's why we will make the jump that we need to make.
You knew the league. You were familiar with the league. You'd been around it. But as a head coach, I feel like sometimes things are moving so fast that it's hard to kind of soak up some of the experience that you went through last year. So what's maybe something you would have done differently at the get-go had you known what you know now? Because I would imagine your perspective has changed drastically.
Yeah, you know, I've gone back and forth on that.
Really?
I did. At the beginning of it, I wanted to give guys some grace.
Sure.
I wanted to give guys grace and say, hey, man, from a buy-in standpoint, whether you're a good enough player, whether you're not, whatever the case may be, I want to give some guys some grace as we get through the spring. We go into fall camp. We had a calendar year, and we had to change some things.
Yeah.
And we had to change a lot, and especially from a personnel standpoint. The other thing is being able to create some great additions to the staff.
Yeah.
And that's something that I learned after year one is to make sure that there's people in the room that have lived it and done it. And they don't have to be the ones doing it at the moment. But, man, if you can support that room with people that have had to live it, they're going to create great perspective. They're going to be able to share some thoughts and ideas on and problem solve before you get to that problem. And so I think that's something that I learned as much as anything.
It was kind of amazing, like watching you guys last year. There was a lot of good. You know, I mean, there was like a lot of good stuff that was established. I think you have a clear identity. I mean, there was a lot of good. Obviously, there's a lot that you want to clean up too, defensively especially. But I'm not going to call, the defense like a complete overhaul. But I imagine there's tweaking that's constantly being done there. Now, as you move into year two, are you planning on being maybe more involved with what's going on that side of the ball, or are you still worrying more so about the offense?
Yeah, not from necessarily a scheme standpoint.
Sure.
There'll be thoughts and ideas that obviously that I have,
Right.
or when I'm watching somebody and have a thought from a personnel standpoint, we'll be involved in those things. But on the day-to-day scheming and being involved with the game plan, man, I'm calling first, second, third, and fourth down. So there's only so much you can do. I think that's why it was, and
Right.
I just talked about it. Why it was so important to be able to create some additions
Yeah.
to that side of the ball, and we've done that. And with Paul Rhodes and Mike McIntyre, two guys that have been coordinators inside our conference,
Good
that have been
guys,
head
too.
coaches, phenomenal
I mean,
people,
amazing
man.
people.
No egos, best
Yeah.
idea wins. They're trying to make Mississippi State football as good as they possibly can, as fast as they can, and for that, man, I'm thankful as heck.
You probably get softer with Paul Rhodes on staff, though.
Paul, he is a go-getter, man. Isn't it awesome? The way that guy teaches, coaches, he got great passion for what he does.
Yeah,
no doubt. There's something that I loved about your team last year, and a lot of people are going to roll their eyes at this. I've said it before, and I know people have been like, come on, dude, like whatever. I want to know what it meant to you. I'm watching games week 10, 11. I think it was Arkansas. It was late in the year.
Yep.
And the defense wasn't good last year. And it's third, fourth quarter, and I'm watching this group, and Taylor Green's running around, and I'm like, these dudes are hauling ass. Like, they are flying around the field. And it's a tackle for loss, but then it's a 12-yard gain. But guys from the opposite side, backside, tracking plays down. You know, guys that are out of plays, tracking plays 15 yards, 20 yards down the field. What did that show you about what you're doing, what your staff's doing? Because I saw it, and I was like, you know what, man? Like, these dudes are – you only do that if you appreciate your coaches and your teammates in your situation.
Yep.
If you're unhappy with a lot of that stuff, guys don't do that.
Well,
so I had an appreciation for it. I was interested in what you saw and what it meant to you.
Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that and saying that. I think for me, I talked about it towards the end of the season. You could not argue with the belief that was inside the walls. And there was a ton of noise. We did not play the way we needed to play. We didn't win the way we needed to win. But there was belief, and there was a sense of urgency inside our building to get better every single week. And the result was not what we wanted, not by any stretch. But our guys believed, and I think we've built on that. And anybody that knows football and watches football, I think, could see that and respect that. And, again, we didn't get it done. And the great thing is right now we're 0-0, and we're getting ready for August 30th.
Yeah, it's awesome to know that opportunity is lying right in front of you. You're one of the biggest mysteries to me in the entire SEC because there's so much new. I mean, so many new players, both lines of scrimmage, almost completely rebuilt. A couple of great additions. Fluff Bothwell was fantastic last year at South. So how do you know what you have, I guess, is my biggest question. Because when you have so much new and there's so much turnover and you're in year two and guys are growing and developing and learning your system, yet it's almost impossible, I feel like, at this point through 15 practices to be like, all right, this is what we got, this is what we're going with.
Yeah, and even taking it a step further, we added 5 linemen in the spring cycle and 2 tight ends. We had to address those 2 positions. Those dudes hadn't practiced a single day with us.
Right.
We got better. You know, I do know that with going through that spring cycle and where we're at today compared to day one of spring football. So you don't know exactly where you're at, and you don't know when live bullets start firing with some of these guys that haven't played a bunch of ball, how they're going to respond when things aren't going great. And so you got to live that. You got to go through that. But I think you've got to create this sense of urgency in practice every single day that is as game-like as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And you coach it that way, and you strain for it that way, and you get guys ready to go do it.
One thing you do know a lot about is Blake Shapen, your quarterback.
Yep.
He's here with you today. Unfortunate situation last year, but you know what you've got in him. What's a little bit different? What do you have now that maybe you didn't have with him a year ago?
I've always said this, but year 2 in this system is when you see these QBs make a dramatic jump. And, again, he didn't play lights-out football, but you look at him statistically through the first 4 games, completion percentage, touchdown to interception ratio,
right,
yards per game, all those things, there was really good production inside of that. And so he's grown a ton. His body's in a better spot than it's ever been. He understands his biggest goal all year is to go start every single football game for us. And got to take care of himself. We got to do a great job of taking care of him, keeping him clean, but fired up about him. He's 212 pounds, never been that in his life. And that's a big piece of it.
That's great to hear.
We're not slowing him down, are we?
No.
Okay.
You know what's amazing? I was at Big 12 last week, and all the Arizona State folks, you know, they're brash. Kenny chirps, and is really just a good dude. I don't know how well you know him, but he's awesome. And they're like, I'm telling you, you talk to people kind of behind, it's like, that Mississippi State game's going to be a beast. I'm like, well, you guys are off a playoff berth. Mississippi State's off a disappointing season, and yet they sit and see that. I think from a coach's perspective, like, that's the game that scares me. I'll play anyone in the Big 12, but that's the game that scares me. What does that tell you when other coaches are sitting there saying, yeah, you know what, State's going to be a problem?
Yeah, well, I think just from a coaching perspective, anytime you're going on the road and you're playing an opponent that's inside a major conference, you have the ability to be on the wrong side of it.
Right.
And so that's just the reality.
We've all been there.
Yeah, that's the reality of where it's at. And so That'll be a great home opener for us. Everything we're doing right now is pointing towards August 30th in Hattiesburg. We got a great in-state opponent, in-state game to open the thing up, which will be a ton of fun. There's a ton of familiarity with guys on both rosters, and that'll be a big one to get it going.
Is there a part of the defense structurally that you feel like needs to alter much? Is there something you want to play more looks, less looks? You want to be more aggressive, less aggressive?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, we played our best defense when we did less. And I think that's something that we've continued to build upon. I think as we've added people to that room from a coaching standpoint and perspective, they've brought that great perspective at times just making sure these dudes can go play free and fast and run and hit and fit it tight and being able to understand where their help is, what's the stress of the defense, stress of the call, and protecting the stress is something I think we've made these huge jumps in, and we'll continue to build on that.
Well, I feel like from the back end be pretty good. Safety should be pretty. We kind of know what we got there, like a bunch of new faces along the defensive line. But are you anticipating being a group that wants to cause disruption? You want to be more sound? I mean, I think back to what Rhodesy did. I think back to what Mac did. I mean, I kind of know who they are. But do you think it's going to be a little bit more like that, or more kind of the trendy defense of today, where it's like shooting gaps and slanting and moving and running and trying to create negative yardage?
Yeah, I think as we continue to try to protect the personnel and play to the personnel, we're going to get through these fall camp practices and truly dial in on exactly what we're going to be. We've got a great feel that we do. We still want to be multiple, but we want to be able to play the same call out of different fronts.
Yeah.
And I think if we can do that and guys understand, again, how it fits up, the stress of the call, protecting the stress, then we're going to have a chance to get done what we want to get done.
Are we going to see 3 safeties at all from you this year?
At some point.
Three safety, double cloud with 4 eyes on the inside.
5 eyes would be great.
5 eyes would be great too. 4 eyes would be good.
I'd love 5.
I think 5 eyes would be a pretty good spot to start. I think I'll just run inside zone into that. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll let you run, man. It's awesome. We love visiting with you. We love talking football with you. Good luck today, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Jeff Lebby, Mississippi State head football coach. Joining us right here.
Getting his own coffee this morning, by the way. Like, getting his own coffee. I mean, I'm sitting there. I'm like, where's your state trooper? I could just beat you up right here, and nobody could do anything about it. And sure enough, he's getting his own coffee.
I don't know if you could beat him up, but
I feel good about it.
Okay.
He's got a look as he walks away with a look of disdain. No, in all seriousness, just one of the best guys ever, and just so normal. And he said, don't forget where you came from, man. I'm like, well, you're the only head coach, I think, here that will get his own, wait in line and get his own coffee at the coffee shop this week. I was
walking back to the elevator from the gym last night, and he was just standing in the lobby.
Yeah.
And I kind of did a double take, and he did this little wave, and I said, do I know that guy? Oh, that's Jeff Lebby, Mississippi State's head football coach. Hey.
It's just cool,
We talked for like 20 minutes, but I talked to Blake Shapen yesterday for a while, too. I'm excited for him. He seems confident. He seems happy, and there's some real reason to be. But as you also mentioned, some real reason for concern because it's so new.
Oh, I don't know if there's reason for concern because it can't get much worse on that side of the ball. You know, I mean, it just last year they just struggled so much defensively at times. And honestly, there were some times, too, like you said, like the effort was there. And there's a couple guys that flash. I think they can grow on that side of the ball for sure. Mike McIntyre, Paul Rhodes are amazing. I mean, those guys do a great job. So I think it's a great place to start with some of the pieces he brought in, guys that have been around, have been head coaches. McIntyre's had tons of success at Colorado and at other places too. So I think it's helpful for sure. But I just don't think they're as far away as everyone thinks if Shapen's healthy. You know, I mean, that to me is the key. I think they can be a real problem. If you catch them on the wrong day, for example, like they can hang 35 on you. And if all of a sudden you turn it over twice, look out. You know, it's a different game. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they progress from year 1 to year 2.
We're going to have Kalen DeBoer, Alabama head football coach. What's up, Coach? Great to see you. It's been way too long since we've had a chance to visit, had a chance to catch up. Some new additions for you, Coach. Obviously, I think the second time I ever got to sit down and talk to you, it was you and Ryan Grubb in the same room. We were doing a meeting for a game, and now he rejoins your staff. A lot of folks want to know what it does for your offense. I want to know what it does for you. as the head coach? Does it change anything from your preparation, your day-to-day, your game planning? What's different about what your role will be this year having him back on staff?
I think there's just another level of trust, and I mean, I trust Nick Sheridan's been a part of it, the same system.
Sure.
Going back to 2019, and he and Jamarcus Shepard and that offensive staff, have helped also Coach Grubb with Ryan Grubb with the transition too. They have the inside scoop on why and what they went through and why they did certain adjustments, but. It is. I mean, when you've coached with someone, and I was trying to do the math, going back 2007, but there's a couple of missed years in between. It's got to be year 13 or 14.
Wow.
You just talk through so many situations together.
Yeah.
You understand not just what and how, but why you did it.
Sure.
And it's not these long, kind of hash it out anymore on some of those. You're working on new problems, that you have, and so. I think there's just and that's setting up a game plan that's in the off season, really putting all the pieces of your system that you feel you need to continue to evolve, continue to tweak, because that's always going to happen. Our system looks a little different this year than it did last year. It looks a little different than it did 2 years before. And so, just a lot of trust on the foresight that he has because, again, every year he does it, he gets better.
Right.
And he's bringing in some elements of what he learned in the NFL. There's no higher level to learn, football. So it's been awesome. He's hit the ground running. He's got, he's always got something to prove, and that's what I love about him. And he wants to have a big year and help us win a lot of football games.
Yeah, well, we're excited for him, excited for you. This is an awesome opportunity. I've said forever over the last, year or so, how difficult the circumstances were that you had to walk into, the challenges of retaining the roster, getting the guys on board, getting the buy-in and authentically buy-in. I mean, really want to be there, but they're getting recruited everywhere else. It's all this stuff. So putting your fingerprints on it, I think in year one, very, very difficult to do. Now you just feel so much more comfortable. You seem like you're in such a great spot. There's momentum in recruiting. It just seems like everything's going the way you wanted it to go. Are you where you want to be at this point heading into year two? Because it certainly feels like you are.
Yeah, I feel good about the progress we've made in
Yeah.
all the areas. Personnel, that might be staff, that might be players, the direction of just the momentum, and it might be related to recruiting. Just everything year two is familiarity.
Yeah.
It's so that leads to more comfortable. Now, again, you don't want to be comfortable, right? Because that's the old coaching thing is we can't get comfortable, we can't get complacent. But there's no reason for us to be because we got a lot to work to do and a lot to accomplish here in front of us. But I think the biggest thing is just getting the right people together and then getting the right people on the same page.
Yeah.
And first is choosing the right people. And it's not common to have a staff where I came from that had, a high level of success, going to a national championship. And you're combining with a staff that also had a high level of success
Right,
going to a national semifinal game. And, change for everyone is hard. Oh, this is how we always did things, and it's not even an ego thing sometimes.
Right.
It's just like, man, change is hard.
Yeah.
And so, having to not explain, I don't want to put it that way because I didn't have to explain, but people were great. But just changing and knowing the routines and, okay, we're going to do this schedule here in the spring. This is how we do it in the summer. It's just been so much better. And our guys, I think, knowing that now they can just focus on the work because they know what to expect, that's probably the most important thing because it doesn't matter what I know. It doesn't matter how – it matters what they know.
Right.
It matters that they feel good about, what the work is and the workout that they're going to have today as they're starting right now, or just a little bit ago. They know what that's going to look like and what's going to feel like, and they just know that in the end the work's the work.
Talking with Alabama head football coach Kalen DeBoer at SEC Media Days, a position that Greg and I have kind of bounced back and forth during this offseason has been tight end. We saw what Jack did at Washington, and you had him. He was able to give you a certain dynamic, probably from a speed perspective, that you didn't have last year. But you had two glorified guards on the field last year with Dupree and Oots. Might not have that kind of oomph at the position, and we've tried to sit. I'll talk about it, and Greg will offset it. Greg will talk about it. I'll offset it. And I don't even think they have to have tight ends in this offense if they don't want them. It's very much a nice to have if you do. I would just love to hear from you kind of where you are from that position standpoint in general, and then maybe where your room is going into this year.
Yeah, I think your questions are reasonable, and I think that there's a lot of pieces to our team that have a lot of experience. that one is one of the ones where you lose 2 guys like we had, and limitations, but there's also things that they did really, really, really well, and it made plays for us, blocking in particular, and physicality is something that you get nervous about when you lose a Robbie Oots and a C.J. Dupree, and so we feel we got a few pieces. The tricky part about that, another added layer to it, is that a lot of those guys were hurt for spring. Cuevas was out, Danny Lewis was out. Even Marshall Pritchett came in as a freshman. He's put on, 25 pounds. Looks phenomenal. But, again, repetitions are important at that age. And, he was out for a while. The list going on and on. So we did bring in a couple guys to help give us some depth, to give us some variety of, physicality mixed in with some experience at the college level. With the 2 transfers that came in here. I think there's potential to do really good things. The tight end is actually a very important part. I think it's important to have answers in the pass protection.
Yeah.
Alignments alone, on top of things you can do just with protection responsibilities or some help you can give. We got to protect the guy back there, right? We got to protect the Q. And, I got confidence in our offensive line, but there's always ways that you can just make that guy feel even more comfortable. There's ways you can add gaps to the run game scheme, and just spread a defense out horizontally on the line of scrimmage to pound the ball and get after people that way. And so the tight end's a critical piece, and that's going to be important for us in the fall to here in camp the next couple weeks to really establish that.
You referenced the Q. As like a father, as a Bama fan, as an alumnus, I want this so badly for Ty. I do. I mean, just because he's paid his dues, he's waited his turn, but he's got to go take it. I mean, as simple as that. He's got to go take it in the spring or in the fall and establish this is my team, this is my turn, and if he doesn't, it's open for competition. But what have you seen from him? Because a couple years ago, the staff's like, this Ty Simpson kid, he might be the most talented guy we got. He can play. It's just he's got to just become an alpha dog. He's got to become a killer. It just never happened. What have you seen from him from a personality standpoint that has changed in the last year to where maybe he might have that confidence to go do what it is he needs to do this fall?
I think a lot of it is just him always owning things, and always being open to being coached and not taking it like, hey, being coached doesn't mean that you're not where you're supposed to be, or that you're now.
When they stop coaching you, that's the problem, right?
Exactly. And so, we gave a little bit at the end of the spring to where, hey, if we play today, Ty would be our quarterback.
Sure.
I think that makes him feel a little bit about, hey, this is where I stand in the coach's eyes, and the communication for us has always been important. So I think that communication's constant, not just in the media, but what I appreciate is him just continue to attack and not worrying about, man, what's this feel like today, or what's going to happen? What if I make this throw and it doesn't go as well?
Right.
Man, is that going to hurt? No, it's not about that. It's about big picture progress, him building the team. He's got great relationships with the guys. He's been, they're familiar with him. He's got all the tools, that you need to throw the ball down the field. He can be accurate, short term or short, middle, and intermediate routes. So got a good head on his shoulders. And so now it's just a matter of reps with Ryan Grubb as his coordinator, Nick Sheridan as the quarterback's coach, working together. Us continue to groove the things that he does really well.
Sure.
Our system's a system, but there's so many plays, right? There's so many good plays you could pick, right? So it's just a matter of picking the right ones that he feels really good about,
right,
that are part of what you do, that you build on, and you go on little tangents throughout the course of the season and add different layers to your offensive system.
Where are the other two guys right now? I mean, I think Austin, I know you like him a lot. Keelan is just, I think he's going to light the world on fire when it's his turn. So what do you think about those two? What does the gap look like? What can they do to challenge Ty for the job to start week one?
Well, yeah, and I mean, when I say Ty's got the tools, so do the other guys.
Sure,
they all got the tools. They're just at different points in their career. Austin really got his most meaningful snaps he's ever had at the college level this spring. He's always been kind of the 3. We really worked him into the 1 and 2 reps all spring long. So his growth happened, exponentially here this spring. He is really smart. He understands what we're trying to accomplish, the checks, the things that the read progressions, all of that, that you want out of a quarterback, it's pretty natural for him. And so it's just a matter of sometimes the hard throws, he's got the tools to make those hard throws. I mean, you stand him up, and Grubb and I talk about this, like, man, you put him next to an NFL quarterback, you changed the name and didn't know who they were. You might not know which one's which.
Yeah.
He's got that type of posture and just way about him, poise. And then Keelan, just as far as coming in, I mean, a lot of guys are just graduate from high school a month ago, and he's already just taking these leaps and bounds, and you can see the playmaking ability, and it's down the field and touch, and knowing when to zip it in there. I think he throws a really catchable ball, which, I think back to the best quarterbacks, that's one thing that they really do is throw catchable balls.
Yeah.
The shallow crosser that's in between, tackle and guard and center, rifling it in there
loft,
at 3. Yeah, finding that passing lane and letting a receiver, just natural, instinctive things that guys do. Keelan does that. They really all do that in their own way. And so, there's a lot of competition, but they all really support each other, and they're all getting after it. They're stepping on each other's toes because that's what's going to happen but they don't take offense to it because they know that's just part of what they got to do.
I'm going to get in trouble for this, but I got to let you talk about Parker Brailsford because I love the kid, and pound for pound, probably the strongest player on the football team. New quarterback, Grubb comes in, but how much easier does he make all of it?
Man, I love talking about Parker. So,
don't go too long because I'm already in trouble for asking that question.
I see why you're in trouble. I was like, what's wrong with talking about Parker? Man, this guy, just his mindset. He's added.
How much did Booker help him last year?
That's what I was going to go. Is there's things that he's taken at the different places and the different stops and what he's seen, and he just keeps adding it to his game. And now the leadership. I think Booker wearing off on Parker Brailsford and just another level of edge,
Because he didn't have that at Washington the year before.
Yeah.
Not that there was anything wrong with how he played. It's just last year, different, a little more of that.
He's got that edge now on another level. And, Caden Proctor's, I think, got the same thing going. And Book really did a great job. And I've reminded the guys many times, like, make sure you don't forget about what that guy
You can play like that. It's
if
okay.
He comes back, he can still beat you up. Like, don't
exactly. Coach, thanks for the time. It's always great. We love talking football with you. We love hanging out with you. We really appreciate it today.
Excited for you, man.
Have fun today.
Appreciate it.
There you go. Kalen DeBoer, Alabama head football coach. We'll be back with more from SEC Media Days Day 3. Come back in at SEC Media Days, Day 3. Not the last day, as I, with excitement, told one of my ESPN bosses when I got on the elevator this morning. I said,
Last day.
Last day. He just kind of looked at me like I was crazy, and I said, oh, wow, it's Wednesday. Never mind. It's not the last day. We're just going to keep it rolling right here. Jeff Lebby, Kalen DeBoer, Brian Haydad now joining the show.
Just getting better.
Just
three of the great football minds
Absolutely.
here in America right now.
Did you have a chance to talk to Mark Henry?
I did.
We had him on the show yesterday, and he was awesome.
Oh, my God.
He was so good.
I tried not to, and no pun intended, mark out when he was with me, but the half of that interview is real.
The takeaway from our interview with him yesterday, Brian, was he told Greg and I about a powerlifting contest or a strongman competition that he competed in, and he said, I'll just tell you this. He said, I benched 605, and I finished last in the bench.
It was like 612. It was like some ridiculous number.
It was over 6. I know.
I asked him what feat of strength
last.
he had pulled off that what most impressed himself.
Yeah.
And he said it was when they had him pull 2 semis.
2 semis.
He said, I've done one plenty of times, but Vince asked me if I could do 2, and I was like, well, let's try it.
Let's give it a go.
Well,
why not?
What I loved most is yesterday he goes, I really wanted to lift this, Salem's Cross.
Oh, the anchor.
And he goes,
anchor in Canada.
Exactly. Because I really wanted to lift this anchor, and it's in Canada. And the last guy that lifted it died, and they wouldn't let me lift it.
He said he dropped it, and it pierced his liver or something and killed him.
And he died.
They were
and
like, you know what? It's probably not the best idea.
I really want to do this.
That's rough.
I talked to Blake Chapin last night. We talked to Lebby today. I talked to him last night. Everybody seems somewhat confident here, some more confident than others, but Jeff seems to feel really confident about the pieces he added and some of what he has coming back. But he seems to think what they added is really going to make them better. What are your thoughts on just the new that's come in Starkville?
It certainly can't make them worse, can it? I mean, they were 2-10 a season ago. It feels like there's really nowhere to go but up with this team. Defensively, they're certainly a lot better in terms of depth. They have 22 guys, I think, that can play SEC football. I don't know how many difference makers they have. There's not a Jeff Simmons, a Montez Sweat kind of player on this side of the ball right now. They may be really solid. I don't know if they're going to be great. Offensively, they should be pretty good. I mean, Lebby is an offensive guy. I feel like, Chapin. I feel like every time we talk about Chapin, we have to throw if he stays healthy at the end of his last name. But that's the reputation.
That was the story last year, though. That ended up being the story. So.
Yeah. And I thought that Van Buren was, as a true freshman,
played great.
He played pretty well.
He did some really good things.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how his career goes on now that he's at LSU. But State, they like Cromanhawk and Camario Taylor. That's a name you guys outside of Mississippi you need to start getting yourself familiar with. He's the next guy. He is going to be the franchise at Mississippi State once Chapin leaves. I think it'll probably be his team next year. But for this season, you've got a really good running back room. You bring back Booth because of the Pavia rule. You bring Fluff Bothwell in from South Alabama. Johnny Daniels rushed for almost 600 yards as well. You got a lot of potential in that receiver room, but there's not a lot of returning production. But Brennan Thompson, who's here today, and I'm sure you'll get a chance to speak with him. Aiden Williams coming from Ole Miss. Every year we would hear from Ole Miss spring practice, man, Aiden Williams is really standing out. But then they would bring in a transfer, and he would take the reps away. So I'm interested to see how he plays. Anthony Evans coming over from Georgia is another one. There's some potential guys there. There's a lot of speed in that room. We'll see how it all translates. The O-line, Cole will love to hear this. The O-line is obviously the biggest deal, and you saw State went out in that second portal window and brought in 2 or 3 guys that they feel are going to compete for starting jobs. I don't know that anybody else in the country had a better second window in the portal than Mississippi State in terms of getting guys that are going to play this year. The first spring practice, Lebby addressed that. He said, we got to get better in that room.
Yeah.
We've got to do it, and that's exactly what they went out and did.
It's hard to do, too. I mean, goodness gracious alive. Like, that's a tough position to find. And defensive line, too. I mean, a bunch of new faces up front as well. So I guess I kind of asked Lebby this. I feel like it's been an impossible ask for him to come in, learn how to be a head coach at a place like Mississippi State right now with the landscape changing the way it is and the personnel turnover the way it is. Like, I think year one's going to be impossible for everybody. I don't care what anyone says. But I think that in year 2, every single one of these second-year coaches is going to experience a pretty significant boost. Like, what is a realistic scenario for Mississippi State on the high side this year?
There's a path to 6-6.
Yeah.
You've got to win your 4 non-conference games, which are the first 4 games of the season.
One just happens to be against a playoff
One
team.
happens to be against Arizona State. Now, Cam Scadaboo, State's defenders will see that guy in their nightmares for the rest of their life, but he's off to the NFL now. But Sam Levitt's a really good quarterback, and I like Dillingham a lot. I think he's a really good young coach. He'll have his team ready to play. That game against Southern Mississippi, which 5-6 years ago that would have been a gimme game. That would have been a game State would have won 42-10 or something like that. That's not a gimme game anymore.
Right.
If State had played Marshall last year, they would have lost to them.
Yeah.
And Southern Mississippi is now Marshall South with Huff coming down. He brought 20 of his players with him, including the quarterback. They're going to be much improved down in Hattiesburg this year. So that's not a gimme game, but State needs to find a way to win it. They need to beat Arizona State. Northern Illinois went to Notre Dame last year and won. And now they're coming to Starkville. And the State lost to Toledo by 24 points last year. So that's certainly not a gimme game. But there's this world that exists where State's 4-0 and hosts Tennessee on what will probably be a Saturday night in Starkville, and that would be something to see. I think they can get to that point. But winning the 4 non-conference games, beating Arkansas, which is probably your most likely SEC win. I'm not saying it is likely. It's just the most likely. And then finding one more. That's 6-6, and that would be a massive step forward for Levy. It would give him something to sell to recruits as well.
Yeah.
What is your view of the top of this league right now? It's the big conversation we think from a 1,000-foot view is no matter who you take at the top, it could be Texas, Bama, Georgia. You can throw LSU in there. Any grouping of those 4 are where most people are going to go. I think the most intriguing part of the next 8 to 10 teams because they're all very similar and could extend, could fall back. Do you think there's a clear front runner to win the conference right now?
There's not a clear front runner. Texas, Georgia, and Alabama are interesting because we don't know enough about their quarterbacks. Simpson's the veteran guy in there, but he's only started, 1 game at Alabama. Stockton started 1 game. Arch Manning has started 2 games. And these are the favorites in the conference. That's why I really like LSU this year is having Nussmeier and having that experience and the talent around him. I really like the Tigers this year. The next grouping, A&M should be good. I'm interested to see if they can kind of break through. I thought they were on the verge of it last year, and it didn't happen. Ole Miss is so interesting because normally when an Ole Miss team would lose as much talent as they lost, we would immediately be like, okay, they're taking a big step back this year. They're going to be maybe a 5-win team, 4-win team. But we're not saying that. And I think it's because Lane Kiffin has so much credit in the bank with us right now. And Austin Simmons,
he's a dude.
His ceiling is really, really high. I had you on the radio, and you talked about him in the glowing terms. That personally made me a little physically ill. But other than that, I see it.
He's a freak.
I see the potential there.
Talent.
And Ole Miss is going to be an interesting team. South Carolina, I like Sellers a lot. I think that he can – I think that something that people have forgotten is that players get better. Everybody's looking at what he did last year, and they go, well, if he does that again. Well, players get better.
Right.
He has another year under his belt.
It's fair.
I think South Carolina could be a good team this year. Missouri is interesting, too. I mean, they're on the verge of being where Ole Miss is in terms of, well, I guess they're just going to be good again. They've had 2 straight really great seasons. If they do a third 9 or 10 win season, I have to take them seriously as every year.
They're in that middle classification of
right.
Auburn, Missouri, Florida, Tennessee, South Carolina. It feels like
6, 7 to A&M. There's
A&M's
really
in that
6 or 7
classification.
teams. Missouri would be the one that I'd have 11th.
Yeah.
Because there's so much unknown. I feel like with that group, but man, I wouldn't shock me at all if they're sitting there in the top 5 of the SEC at season's end.
And that's fun. That people talked about transfer portal and NIL as all these top programs are just going to run away, and that has been the opposite of what's happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody has thrived more in the transfer portal era than Ole Miss has.
Yeah.
They've turned their program into a year in, year out contender in the SEC. They were not that 10 years ago.
No.
So.
Well, Brian, thanks for the time. Always love catching up with you, man. Thank you very much. Brian Haydad covers Mississippi State, giving us a little more info here at SEC Media Days. I'll give you some info on your CBD store before we go to break. If you're looking for a better night's sleep, if you're looking for help with arthritis or anxiety, if your pet needs help with arthritis or anxiety, they've helped pets at my household get around just a little bit better. Maybe your pets have skincare, gut health issues. Your CBD store. How about we have a grocery bag of just 2 random 2 liters of Coke sitting over here on the floor?
I saw that earlier.
Just literally on the floor.
It's a liter of cola.
Sandra, are those your 2 liters of Coke right there? Yes. Okay, just Got it. Just
Makes perfect sense.
she said just to get her morning started.
About to say Coke and
And just
chicken.
randomly sitting there.
Just
two
2
liters.
No-
Okay.
No big deal.
Your CBD store, first company to have USDA certified organic oil supplements. They've got the stamp seal on the products. Great customer service. Largest brick and mortar CBD retailer in the world. 3 locations. Highway 280 by Bailey Brothers, 150 by the Cage in Cleveland. Trustful just off 459. Your CBD store where good health hits home. We will continue coverage. Alabama Day from SEC Media Days here at the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta next on Jox.
McElroy, Cubelic in the morning, Jox 94.5. Hope everybody's having a great start to their Wednesday morning. Alabama Day here at the College Football Hall of Fame as day 3 of SEC Media Days continues on. Cole Cubelic, Greg McElroy. It's McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Bill Smith Buick GMC is the GMC Dealer of the Year. They're the national champion. They are just a short drive up the road right now from us in Birmingham. So lucky to have the very best, according to General Motors. Just a short drive up the road, man. It's amazing the deals they have on the lot. You can save $14,000 on a GMC Sierra 1500 SLT package. It's amazing. Beautiful vehicle, beautiful truck, and one that you could save a ton of money on. $14,000 off the sticker gets you out the door for about $53,000. Deals like that keep you coming back. That's why 75% of their business repeat customers. But it's also the service as well that you get, the relationships you create when you shop at Bill Smith's. Take a short drive up to Coleman. You'll be glad you did. You can also shop online. Have to right to your driveway at BillSmithBuickGMC.com.
All right, so day 3, SEC Media Days. Alabama, Mississippi State going to be here today. Florida going to be here today. We've already had Kalen DeBoer. We've already had Jeff Lebby. I did want to rewind to yesterday just a little bit.
Yes.
Before we do that, All-Star game last night, extra swings.
Pretty sweet.
You liked it?
Did not hate it.
Okay. I was asleep. I missed it. But
I think it was a really good way of finishing
a tied All-Star game?
A tied All-Star game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Home Run Derby, did you catch any of that?
No.
The only takeaway I had from Home Run Derby was O'Neal Cruz. He hit one 513.
It's not.
I mean,
why is that not surprising?
Yeah, but he was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean,
crazy.
Didn't win it, but just launching baseballs.
They got some. Baseball's got some stars now. Like, there's some guys coming. O'Neal Cruz. I think Cal Raleigh's there. I mean, like, people now love him, and I understandably, like, the nickname, the fact that he's got 38 bombs right now is just
leads Major League Baseball in home runs.
I mean, almost set the record before the All-Star break. Like, it's
and
pretty
wins the
cool.
Home Run Derby.
And wins the Home Run Derby. And granted, plays in Seattle, so no one sees him, but you got to appreciate how he's kind of creating some momentum for himself as a real player down the road for MLB.
All right, takeaways from yesterday. I thought Arch Manning was very impressive. I don't know why people expected something different.
Yeah.
But people haven't had a chance to talk to him and get to know him a little bit. And I didn't expect anything different from him. And
I didn't visit with him at all. I was like trying all day to like just brush elbows with him. I never saw him.
Yeah, I got to talk to him for a couple minutes downstairs before he hit the podium. And then I know Paul's show carried him at the podium live. But I just had multiple people texting me, calling me, saw things on social media, how impressive he was. And it's just, I mean, it's a tribute to his parents. It's a tribute to that staff, how they've handled and managed him, his family, and him personally, because he wants to do this the right way.
Yeah.
And he goes out of his way to do it the right way. And I thought of and it's, listen, his parents deserve a ton of credit. His grandfather deserves a ton of credit. But I don't know if we're giving him enough credit for how he's handled this, because it would be very easy to let some of this go to your head. It'd be very easy not to be level-headed with it, and he's below level-headed with it. Like he almost he uses it to make fun of himself a little bit, and I don't know if we're giving him enough credit for how he's managed a lot of this. He deserves it.
He has a built-in advantage, right? I mean, not many people in their group have guys that have lived it, walked it at the highest possible level.
Yep.
I mean, there is not a situation that he could come across where he could not make 2 phone calls and have a really good, well-sourced answer from someone who lived it. So give, yes, 1,000%, he's in a great spot. I think he's handled it beautifully. But he does have a bit of an unfair advantage over the normal players that don't have access to NFL Hall of Famers. So I think he's done everything you could possibly expect of him to put himself in position to have a phenomenal season. Like
you want me to hold that up for you so you can get it up there? You want me to grab it?
I couldn't be more excited for him. I'm fascinated to see how he's covered. That's what I'm most intrigued by. I think he's going to be good. I just wonder if at Ohio State he comes out and throws a couple picks, are people going to lose their minds? I don't think so. Because the hype is on.
I think there'll be some I told you
level.
so's by the people who are trying to detract his abilities. But
who's detracting, though? I don't know anybody.
There's been a lot of people this week saying this isn't deserved. He hasn't earned it. He hasn't done it on the field.
Which is fair, and it's true. He shouldn't be 6-1 to win the Heisman. I get it, but can you blame people for in a popularity contest?
No. Picking
a guy that's the most popular player? It's not that surprising. I don't know. It's wild.
Here, I'm going to help you.
Cole is now helping it might be from.
How do you focus out?
Might be from the Crimson White. Are y'all from the Crimson White?
Oh,
nice. Okay,
should not
Alabama.
Be helping you then.
So Alabama student newspaper, the Crimson White, one that I used to read regularly in the coffee shop. Cole is now taking pictures for their reporters of Kalen DeBoer.
Well, she couldn't get it up over everybody else. So
yeah, that is a little tricky.
I'm trying to help give her an advantage.
I love the advantage. I think it's a good shot.
I don't know if those will work or
it
make the publication, but I deserve credit.
I can tell you who I'm not trusting to take pictures, though, is Cole Cubelic. Like, if you think for a second that picture was in focus.
I asked her to focus it before I did it.
No.
One thing hit me yesterday when I was at the desk with Dari and Ben and
Tell
Dusty.
me when you weren't at the desk yesterday, by the way, because I looked over
when
there.
I was here.
You were
I was for a while.
On the air all day.
there was one part of Arch Manning that kind of hit me yesterday along the lines of what you were just discussing, and I'm going to tell everybody what it was when we come back next right here on McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. Welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. We're live from the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta for Day 3 of SEC Media Days, Alabama Day here in the ATL. We've had Kalen DeBoer, we've had Jeff Lebby, we've had Brian Haydad. More yet to come. Dusty Dvorak going to stop by, talk Oklahoma with him. Chris Doring come by, talk some Florida with him. Florida in the building today as well. So a lot of intrigue with what's going to happen. This hit me yesterday when referencing Arch Manning because Ben, Dusty, and I were talking about how he's managed and navigated this, kind of the conversation you and I were just having.
Yeah.
And I got to thinking, because somebody made the reference about people in his camp kind of like you did. And I had not thought about it this way. Think about Peyton and Eli and sort of their demeanor, how they operate. We know Cooper's fairly similar. nobody in that family perched him up too early.
No, gosh, no.
Nobody took him and said, "Oh, 5-star," or "Oh, here comes the next Manning."
Ever.
If anything, Peyton and Eli probably looking like, "You only threw for 380."
Yeah.
Like, well, what about those 2 incompletions? I mean, it's like
38 of 40. What'd you see in that cover
like,
two?
It didn't hit me until yesterday when I was kind of thinking about it. And I was like, if there were a family that did have advantages, but also had the guys capable of just continuing to knock him back down a little bit, like, that's the family to do it.
Well,
right
Peyton
there.
always said he knew he'd made it. I like, it's a special thing with someone when people stopped referring to him as Archie's boy. Like, they would always, there's Archie's boy over there. Yeah. There's Archie's boy over there. And then they stopped referring to him as Archie's boy. Now he's Peyton.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that's when he's like, I made it. I think the similar thing right now, he's Peyton Eli's nephew. That's what he is. And eventually he's going to become Arch. But
I will say, and he told us that he talks to his granddad every week.
Yeah.
It's becoming cooler and cooler, the relationship that's unraveling that Arch and Archie have.
Yeah.
I think that's much deeper than any of us know right now. That Alabama heat and humidity's deep. Don't let it bother you. Get a Train official cooling partner here at Jox. Find a comfort specialist for you at Train.com and come back with us from Media Days next right here on Jox. Record it, please. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning, live from SEC at Media Days. Kalen DeBoer will hit the podium here in a few moments. We will take you to that. First, Richard Johnson is going to join us. And Greg was just asking about still living in the city. And we've seen multiple players wearing these Christian Dior sneakers this week. Have you seen these?
Yeah, it's the Christian Dior sneakers and then the Louis V sneakers too.
The McQueens too.
Hold
the
on a
McQueens
second,
are in
because
there.
I think Richard just won't date him.
Yeah.
When you saw those Louis Vuitton sneakers, what did you think they were? What did they look just like?
They look like some Air Force Ones, I thought.
I thought they looked like British Knights.
You're dating yourself there.
Yes.
I'm a little young
See,
for that.
we
Sorry.
are in the same
I'm old.
ballpark
I'm old.
age-wise. He's younger than me. I would imagine. How old
Yeah,
are you?
I'm 32.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
37.
never mind.
So
these Christian Diors are New Balance.
They're like $1,200 too.
They are
Yes.
$1,200.
Correct.
Putting that NIL to good use.
That's a New Balance with a C and a D on it.
Yeah, everything comes back
Which,
around.
by the way, Chris Doring should have those.
Everything comes back around. You see the Balenciagas that look like New Balances. Everything comes back around. Style is
we were-
cyclical.
We were searching them. I was searching them, and these Christian Dior showed up right here, which are different. And I know the people at home can't see them. I'll do it for the YouTube. That's a Walmart sneaker right there.
They are.
Those are the Air Monarchs. Those are the Air. You go
They
cut
do
the grass
look like
in.
the Air Monarchs.
I have
They
Monarchs,
do.
and there's nothing wrong with it.
There's
And that's
nothing wrong
a
with it.
check right there. That's half the rent right there.
That's
I've
insane.
never understood the sneaker. Look, I am a former sneakerhead, but it was Nikes, exclusive. Like not doing anything. I'm just doing Jordans and Nikes. Simple as that. Air Max and Jordan. Nothing else. Never got too creative. Never got out over my skis. But I look at what guys would spend on a pair of Alexander McQueens that look like knockoff Adidas Superstars. Like, I don't understand, like, why, and they're spending $900 on a white tennis shoe. I bought these for $85, and they look fine. Not the best shoes I own by any
these kids
stretch.
aren't trying to look fine.
But see, for me,
Nobody
it's like,
can tell the difference.
But like, let's make a statement. See, like what we're talking about is these shoes look like the Air Monarchs you cut the grass in. Like, if you're gonna spend the money, at least make a statement. Have some rhinestones. Have some something going on in there to stand out.
You want to bedazzle the sneaker a little bit? I can get on board with that. The Balenciagas are so ugly that is a statement.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they're so
But
hideous.
That's the point. That's the
Correct.
point.
Like, they're the ugliest shoe on planet Earth, and yet I kind of want a pair. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that one I do kind of understand. Let's dive into the SEC a bit. Now, you've been kind of observing all week, really slow week. Like, I don't feel we were kind of just talking about this.
I did want to talk about this. I think we have finally gotten to the point where the hype on SEC Media Days is nowhere near what the event actually is. The object of the exercise here, it seems like, from all the coaches and the players, is to say absolutely nothing.
They're robots.
In not even as many words as possible, in as few words as possible. Make no news, make no headlines. I mean, like Hugh Freeze's socks is about the only thing. He's wearing the FootJoy socks, by the way.
Really?
I was going to say, we didn't see those. We missed that.
You could take the man off the golf course. You can't take the golf course out of the man.
FootJoy socks very comfortable. I will admit.
statement.
Yeah, really good
Hugh
stuff.
Freeze's socks is about the most interesting thing that's happened as far as I'm concerned.
There was
Kirby,
another guy that said something that got some people going. But
I wasn't going to bring it up.
To be honest with
okay.
you, if you really look at it, it was kind of like a nothing burger. Like, everybody knows that, and the fact that that's the thing that people are like all been. The biggest thing I've noticed was that they played Texas A&M's fight song.
Yes.
As Steve
That was
Sarkisian
a
walked
thing.
up on the podium. That was the one moment.
Do you
from
think
this
Sark
media
was
days.
so dialed in that he honestly didn't notice it, or do you think that he was so pissed that he was
It's
like,
the
I'm not going to
perfect guy to
reference
do it to because he doesn't care.
And he
Like,
also knows if he reacts one way or the other, it's going to go absolutely
Just not good.
nuclear. Absolutely.
Right.
I bet
with
he
that.
laughed afterwards. Like, he's the one. I bet if you were to have played Georgia Tech's fight song when Kirby walked up, someone's getting punched. Like, that's
No,
happening.
he would have stopped what he was doing.
and he would have literally just
But that
walked
goes.
right out the
I mean,
door.
that goes back for him to
100%.
when he was 18 years old. I
If
mean,
you,
that's,
but
that's,
if you
that's
played,
deep for
if
him.
you played the Auburn fight song when Kalen DeBoer walked up, that is like, you don't do that, and or vice versa. Yay, Alabama, when Hugh Freeze walked up, like, you don't do that. Like, I think we in this world are like not as a kid from Texas.
Yeah.
The second I heard the war hymn, I was like,
Hold on.
whoa, like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, this is the biggest deal ever, and Sark just took it in stride.
Richard,
also-
my wife and I were talking about this, and I thought she used a term that I hadn't put together or put on it just yet, and she said convention.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what we've turned into here.
It does feel a lot like first day of school.
Yes.
You're seeing a lot of the fun. Like, I haven't seen you guys probably since January in Atlanta. Like, it's been a while since everybody's gotten together. But I will say, like, the Arch was down there yesterday.
I saw you at the Orange Bowl in the middle of the parking lot doing a hit.
That is true. That's TV that's TV magic right there. Like, Arch Manning was down there yesterday, and there was a decent group of people around him. But I don't know if you guys were at Media Days in 2013 when Manziel and Jadeveon Clowney were around.
I told somebody, they said nothing's compared to this, and I said, guys, we were
It's
in
not
that
even
giant
close,
ballroom
Cole.
at the Winfrey, and it was Manziel and 2 other A&M players, and there were not 7 combined people at the other 2 players' tables.
It is
Literally.
not even
I think the one dude
close
may have
to
been
that
by
year.
himself
Yeah.
on the other side, because I think they brought a punter that year.
Yeah. And I do wonder, last year I know they did it in Dallas. They haven't even announced where they're doing it next year. So I don't know if they know, they haven't gotten a venue or whatever. But, yeah, the events changed. I think Media Days in general have changed. Access is obviously a little bit different unless you work for 4-Letter Network or what have you, and you can get these guys in a room. So it's just a different event than it once was.
Richard Johnson, Split Zone Duo, CBS Sports, joining us here at SEC Media Days. Do you have a clear favorite in the league right now?
Texas. I think if Texas's interior defensive line is approximate to what it's been the last 2 years, and I know that is something of a big if.
No, but they overcame that last year. That was the big problem going into last year.
If the interior defensive line is what they're supposed to be, they are favorite with a bullet in this league. To me, I think it's them and Oregon as 1 and 2 favorites for the national championship.
Wow. Nobody else on that pedestal.
No.
I would have to have Clemson there.
I think Clemson, because of their path, I would agree. But I do still wonder if when Clemson gets into it in January, if they're really ready for prime time. But, yes, I think Clemson is a lock to be a top 4 seed with a bye just because of the league they're in and how talented they are. But I do wonder if how they really match up with Oregon and Texas when we get down to it.
So if Texas is Tier 1 SEC, how many teams would be Tier 2 kind of knocking on that door for you?
You got a big group right there of Tier 2 SEC teams. Obviously, your Georgia's in there.
Georgia, Bama, LSU there?
Yeah, Tennessee, to me, I didn't love Tennessee last year, and they found their way into the dance, and then what happened against Ohio State. So I don't have them there, but, yeah, that group of teams that you just mentioned, they're right there. And Florida's your sleeper to kind of be, I think, what South Carolina was last year or what Bama was last year, which is in the mix in November. I don't think Florida's going to make the playoff, but I think if Florida's looking at a 9-3 season.
About them. I feel like they're flying under the radar.
If DJ Lagway is healthy and Florida has a 9-3 season with the schedule that they would have gotten through to get there, that is at least a top 15 team that you will be talking about going into Selection Sunday. Again, I don't know that they'll get in, but they will be in the conversation like Carolina and like Alabama were late on.
I feel like it's amazing. There has to be, and I'm not maybe necessarily keeping track. I just answered a text message for TV a little later. Who's your sleeper team? I think I have 5. You know what I mean?
And then if you think about it for 30 minutes, you'll have 4 more.
It's like I really believe. Like I think A&M's a sleeper. I think Auburn's a sleeper. I think Florida's a sleeper. I think Oklahoma's a sleeper.
Missouri. Well, you hate Missouri.
I'm not as big on Missouri as you are. I like Perbula. I just think that his mobility. I worry about him taking hits in this league.
The O-line's going to be good. Ahmad Hardy's going to be good.
I agree with all that.
Brett Norfleet's really good. The receivers are going to be fine.
Defensively,
a safety that comes down and likes to hit. The D-line's going to be pretty good.
They should be good. They should be solid.
Just that. And their path is
most manageable schedule.
Anything else?
Most manageable schedule. I think Ole Miss is a sleeper. Like I don't think their defense can be good enough. But I think
they deserve
to
be in that category.
Like I think there's 6 or 7 sleepers. Like how many do you see as sleepers in this league?
Somebody's got to finish 8th in this league. You know what I mean? Like it's a 16-team league. Like somebody is going to come into this season thinking that they will be around championship contention, SEC championship contention, and they're going to finish 6th, and everybody's going to be ticked. But that's the nature of this league.
Yeah. That's why I love the question. It's not so much who will advance from all those teams we talked about, who's going backwards. And that's I think the harder question because. Like usually we're here at Vanderbilt. Vandy ain't going backwards.
No.
They're not.
The answer to that question to me is clearly Tennessee. Like I thought Tennessee was pulling the wool over everybody's eyes last year with that team. Defense was good. Dylan Sampson was benefiting from like boxes, et cetera, with the way that the offensive architecture was going on with that team. But that team to me was just making it week in, week out. They were not what I thought they were billed to be. And then obviously they get into the playoff and you see what happens when they face one of college football's best. So I think Tennessee takes a step back. Even if they had to go.
What about South Carolina?
Yeah, I think Carolina takes a step back, too.
They almost have to.
I don't think they have to.
Man, there are so many players
that so much on defense that they got to replace.
It's not just their great players that they've got to replace on defense. It's the players that you don't realize were that good for them, but are in camp. For instance,
No, I get it.
Yeah.
No,
in an NFL training camp, or we'll make an NFL team.
3D tackles, a defensive end, an inside
40
linebacker.
tackles.
And then who's playing wide receiver for them? Their best wide receiver finally
They
took
need
an
young wide
offseason
receivers
to,
to
play
be
receiver
big for them. They
in
need young wide
McElroy.
receivers to show up. That's going to have to happen. However, you got Brian Thomas, Monkel Goodwine, guys that have been playing on that team for a long time. And you still have 4 DBs that are going to play, and they love their corners that have been in that defense for 4 years.
They're going to be physical as all get out. They'll fight you.
I just think
they're not going to be as good.
They
up
have
front.
a lot of guys that have been there for a while. And they might not be some of the high-end guys we've seen last year or that show up like Kennard, but I've told Greg this. Nobody has done more with less in the portal than Shane and his staff. Every single year, Mario Anderson, Nick Gargiulo, Kyle Kennard, Joshua Simon. We didn't talk about Demetrius Knight. None of us talking about any of those guys at any media days the last 3 years, and then they rush for 900 yards or get 12 sacks. And
I mean, Rocket even. Like, he had like a
oh, no, he was
career-
done because he couldn't stay healthy.
Yeah,
He was
no,
done.
can't play anymore. All right, he loses 20 pounds, and now he can run again. Like,
Look at what happened to Juice Wells when he left that place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said that about Spencer. He's a head case. He can't do it. He's a one-trick pony. He can only make one read. And then he looks like a freaking NFL quarterback in Athens for him. So I just think there's going to be 2-3 guys that they're going to get something out of that other people haven't. So I'm not saying they win the league, but they're in that category of could.
Your boy at Auburn, man, what's going on? What's going on here? Can't get off
I'll
the
tell you
golf
this.
course?
People aren't going to like to hear this, but after yesterday, my confidence in Auburn is dwindling.
He's ratcheted expectations.
What?
Yesterday,
Greg, he said yesterday that he has told his defensive coordinators to boost his quarterback's confidence at practice every day.
It's the vibes out of that
Excuse me
place,
for not
man.
feeling great about that.
The vibes out of that place are terrible right now. I mean, we're talking about, and I know it will be a funny footnote. If they end up good, the golf will be something that we talk about, like we talk about Steve Spurrier's golf. It'll be really nice. It's a fun thing that he does. Congrats for getting off the football field. But yesterday, reading between the lines, he's starting to talk about their periphery playoff team. That has changed. He was talking about, like, hopefully we make a bowl, win 7 games for the last few months, and now it's maybe we're a periphery playoff team. And something's amiss.
I'm going the other direction as y'all. Like, I think Auburn's going to be a problem. They get Georgia and Bama at home.
They have the players to be a problem.
You know how
It's just
weird that place gets.
You need more than players to do it.
You're in a damn police escort, and you get stuck in traffic on your way to Auburn as an Alabama football team.
What's wrong with that?
Tell me how that makes sense. All right? And you show up to the stadium 90 minutes before the game, and you haven't even gotten dressed yet. You're supposed to be on the field in 15 minutes. That's the problem. Things happen there, all right? And they get
I've heard Neuheisel talking about this with, I think it was like going to Iowa.
Yeah.
He was talking about how, like, there's always a different road closed, and you have to take a detour, and it like, makes the trip 30 minutes longer to get to campus. And he goes, now we're walking in the locker rooms, and we should have been warming up 5 minutes ago. I was like, that's actually great strategy.
It's on the way from Montgomery, where we stayed, to Auburn in 2009, we had a police escort and a bus. We got stopped in traffic.
I don't see the problem.
We could not get to the stadium.
I'm surprised.
You won the game.
That is war games.
You won the game.
I'm surprised Coach Saban did not have the roads one way.
Oh, believe me, I don't think that was like the first time we arrived.
85.
That was the first time we arrived at Auburn with like expectations. In 2007, like, we're going to just dog walk these guys up there. We lost to Louisiana Monroe the week before we played Auburn in 2007. So 2009, like, weird things happen there. All that aside, you mock the quarterback confidence thing.
I'm not mocking it, Greg. I'm just saying,
it,
who's the last person that told their D coordinator, make life easy on my quarterback? You were in the exact opposite situation.
Correct.
Kirby throws everything at his guys on a regular basis.
Different strokes for different folks. Their quarterback has had confidence issues. They have to have Jackson Arnold play at a high level. They have to. This offense requires the quarterback to play well, make split-second decisions, have a certain fearlessness. You can call it fearlessness. You can call it just a lack of intelligence, perhaps. I don't know. But in this offense, the guys that have run it really, really well are the guys that just don't care. Like, Bo Wallace didn't care. Chad Kelly didn't care. This reclamation project has to go well. His job depends on it. So I am
I don't
totally
disagree with that, but I don't think you fabricate it through defenses being easy.
No one said it had to be easy. It just means
What do you take from that then by telling your D coordinator to go easy on him so he can build his confidence?
You should finish every practice with 7-on-7. That's what you should do. Like, hey, we're not doing team at the end today, boys. We're doing 7-on-7 at the end. There's no pass rush.
Like a true quarterback.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I
100%.
understand the message. Like, I get it. This is a young man that has worlds of ability, top-tier recruit, all the expectations in the world, and it didn't go well at the last place because he got kicked in the mouth and couldn't recover. That, I think, is something that you have to be cognizant of as a head coach. I look at their front along the offensive line, should be a upper-tier group in the SEC.
Yep.
I look at their wide receivers, should be upper-tier group in the SEC, if not top 2 or 3. Look at their running back situation. I think they have enough there. Little concerned about the depth.
Above average.
Little concerned about the depth, but I think they'll be fine. I look at the defense. Very, very sound. Great coordinator in Durkin. Has a great feel for the league. Knows the league inside and out. Not going to do a lot of things that are going to cause teams problems, but not going to give up anything either. You're going to have to earn your way down the field against Auburn. So I'm going the opposite direction, and I think this golf storyline is so overblown.
Oh, it's extremely July stuff.
Yes,
I will admit that is extremely July stuff.
I think he's playing golf with boosters. The guy that he's playing with is one of the biggest supporters of Auburn athletics.
I will say this, though. If they go out there and they stumble coming out of the gate,
Baylor, they have to win Baylor.
It is just going to get so toxic.
Yes, they got to win Baylor.
It is going to get so toxic for everybody involved with that program. I just see it going south. It has the ability to go south very quickly.
Richard, thanks for hanging out with us, man.
Good to see you,
Great
buddy.
stuff. Great to see you. Great to catch up. Split Zone Duo Podcast, CBS Sports. Look forward to doing it again soon.
Always a pleasure, fellas.
All right, there you go. When we come back, Kalen DeBoer live at the podium right here at SEC Media Days. Before we do that, Greg, tell our listeners about Polar Bear Services.
Well, I call Weston for everything. I mean, I just really appreciate the service, the professionalism, the way they take care of my home like it's their own. I mean, I've called Weston for everything. I mean, anything from, hey, I got a leaky shower. He's come out and fixed that. Fixed the HVAC system. Replaced a coil recently in the HVAC system. Like, I've just gone to him for everything because they can do everything. They can do electrical. They've helped me out with appliances in the past. So just call Polar Bear Services. Whatever it might be, you'll still be in really good shape. Remember, if you have a problem with your electrical, plumbing, heater, air, just pick up the phone and call the Bear. It's 205-497-BEAR. It's 497-BEAR.
Kalen DeBoer live from the podium next on Jox. Media Days, Cole Cubelic, Greg McElroy, live from the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta. Day 3 of SEC Media Days. Today, Alabama, Mississippi State, Florida, and Oklahoma will be in the house today. Before we get to Kalen DeBoer at the podium, I'll tell you about Game Day Men's Health. If you are feeling on edge, if you're lacking sleep, lacking energy, Game Day Men's Health wants to help you. If you're looking for some anti-aging, things of that nature, they can help you in a lot of different ways. Here's what you do. Go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com, sign up for the free consultation. You're going to get a free PSA test, free testosterone test. They'll tell you just a baseline of where your health is right now. Then they'll tell you the different ways that they can help you out. Weight loss programs, testosterone replacement, peptides. There are a lot of different directions that Game Day Men's Health can go to get you feeling your best. Holistic approach to health and wellness. Weight loss programs that they can get you on, multiple, and there's a minimal upfront cost from the programs they offer. Just go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com right now and sign up for the free consultation. Tell them you heard about them right here on Mac and Cube. Save 10% on any service they offer. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. One of the Coke cheerleaders is down. They're still there. No one's claimed 2 Coca-Cola cheerleaders just on the floor in the middle of the College Football Hall of Fame, and one is now on its side. We'll see if they last for the rest of the day. And the Alabama head football coach, Kalen DeBoer, now taking the podium.
3 talented guys that I want to brag on a little bit here before I kind of move on to some things about the team. Offensively, brought Caden Proctor. He's our 3rd year offensive tackle. He's originally from Iowa, and a couple things. You look at the guy and he's massive, and man, he just does everything on a high level when it comes to his training. But the thing I'm going to tell you about this guy that's impressive to me as well is that by the end of this season, at the end here in December, he will have his degree. So if you do the math on that, 3 years getting your degree, even a semester in there where he transferred, and that gets harder to do when you do that. But he'll have not just his degree, but right now he has a 3.7 GPA. And so taking 16 credits this summer just so he can be on track to be able to accomplish and walk across that stage, have a great football season, but also, have his degree there. I know he's excited to represent not just the team, but also he, representing the offensive line, our offensive side of the football. He has a lot of great pride in what they're accomplishing and the work they're putting in. Tim Keenan, 5th year defensive lineman. I think the thing with Tim that he's a homegrown, boy from Alabama, and I think when I look at Tim, the team just looks at him as like that big brother. He's a mentor to not just the young guys, but even the old guys. They know they can count on him to be doing the work. He embodies what a student athlete is all about. And I think those that really know Tim and follow what he does, he's got a passion for giving back to the community. He's one of our guys that just is at the forefront, spiritually leading our team. And then also just from a community standpoint, community service standpoint, he's out there. He's a big brother to kids in our community. Man, there's just him understanding the platform he has is so impressive to me. It's been a pleasure to coach him. We get one more crack at it with him, and appreciate his leadership. And then Deontay Lawson, 5th year linebacker. He was a captain, really our only returning captain from last year's team. That should say enough right there about how our team views him, how they look at him. His journey, again, everyone's got something a little bit different. Probably thought a year ago at this time he'd be, wearing an NFL jersey. Circumstances as they may be, just coming back from an injury, seeing him attack it, seeing him hit, and his mindset, him understanding the circumstances he can't control and what he can. Oh, man, it's just amazing seeing him take over not just the defense, but be a leader on our football team. I walked into a meeting, was looking for a coach, actually. I walked in, and actually it was him holding a meeting with the linebackers. That was I guess, yesterday morning. It seems like forever ago, but yeah, it was yesterday morning. And listened for about 30 seconds. I knew that meeting was in a good position. Coaching it like a coach. And when you have guys on the field that are like him, that understand the depth, the details, you know you're headed in the right direction and have a chance. So those are our 3 guys. Super proud of them, their journeys. I think the common theme with all of them is they're high character guys. They're extremely driven. I think, again, they represent a lot of what our team's all about. They're leaders on the team, but they're also leaders in the community. Before I move on to our team, one person I also want to thank is just our athletic director, Greg Byrne, just for his leadership. Much like Greg Sankey, you know, the world of college athletics and it ever changing, you got to have those people at the top that, you know, are working through it and coming up with solutions. And I can't thank Greg enough for the way he communicates with me on the direction we need to be going and what might lie ahead. I think his foresight's been critical going back to when I first got here, and especially even going back to a year ago on what it might look like with the evolving and the evolution of what college athletics looks like today. Second season, familiarity's been a word that's been used a lot already this morning with different interviews. You know, that's great. It helps you feel good about where your family's living and what those routines are. You know, that's important to me and our success. You got to have that piece in place. Familiarity with it, and I think the common word also would be continuity. Starts with our coaching staff. Really, one change on the defensive side of the ball, and then the addition of Ryan Grubb on the offensive side. Everyone else, not just the position coaches, but quality control coaches, graduate assistants, recruiting staff, strength and conditioning, academics, training room. We really had no turnover in all those areas. And so that's exciting to me because I think that says a lot about the belief and the excitement of what lies ahead. And that you have the right people. You know, you talk about getting the right people on the bus, the right people in your program and inside the building, and I feel like we certainly have that. So continuity is a huge piece of kind of what year 2 is all about right now. That trickles down to your players. You know, the leadership from the staff is there, but really the culture that we want to try to exude, try to have, it comes to life through our players, and they are making that happen. It's the day-to-day, and as we speak right now, they're on the field, you know, in a nice warm morning in Tuscaloosa, you know, getting after it. And I can't tell you how impressed I've been with them just focusing on the main thing, and that's the work. Not getting ahead of themselves, not even worried really about practice number 1, game number 1 for sure, or even further down the road in the season. I know they'll get asked questions about it and have to answer some of those today, but when it comes down to what we're focused on, it's the day-to-day work that these guys are really like honed in on, and making sure that they take care of to give themselves a chance to be highly successful this fall. The team's an extremely coachable group. They compete with each other, a lot of competitions within, you know, but just the competition against themselves to be the best they can be, they've really bought into that. You know, when it comes to who we lost, really 8 seniors last year. 3 on defense, 2 on offense, 3 specialists, which, you know, God asked that question really the first time in a long time talking about our specialists. It's one of the positions and one of the areas you always kind of look past. But as much as we played young guys, we played, I think, the most freshmen on special team snaps in the entire league, and I really think it wasn't even close. There was also 3 specialists, punter, kicker, and long snapper, that were mainstays in the program for quite some time, or had a lot of experience playing at a high level. So we replaced all of those guys, and that would probably be something that we really gotta work through, and got a confidence and belief in the guys that are in our program that they'll step up. So, you know, we're right at about 17 seniors, so that's double what we had a year ago. We did lose the 3 guys to early outs in the NFL with Jalen Milroe, Tyler Booker, and Jahad Campbell. Deservingly so, those guys getting their opportunities to go make the most of it at the next level. So experience, and I think really when it comes down to where do you want to improve, where do you need to get better, it's reps. You know, all of us get better at our jobs by taking more reps. You know, myself as a head coach at this place here at Alabama, you guys in your roles, our players, and then it's reps together. And so again, familiarity, continuity, repetitions. We got to be better in the big moments. We lost some close games last year, and we had chances, maybe not even in the fourth quarter, but we had chances earlier in the game to separate ourselves or make a play here or there. And you know, whether it was the belief or whether it was the confidence, a lot of that just comes through repetitions. And so we've really had a great offseason, understanding where we fell short, why we fell short, not just the what and the how, but the why. And I'm excited about our guys, you know, taking those next steps, understanding when we get in those moments this year, those critical times, how to come through and make the play that's necessary to go win football games. We were undefeated at home, but we also struggled on the road. And we start this year on the road and go to Florida State, and we know that, you know, they're going to have something to prove as well. And so that's going to be, you know, a great environment to get tested early on. And so, you know, we don't need to look anything beyond that as far as our preparation or what might lie, because none of it matters unless we take care of business and do what we're doing, being our best in that week 1 game against Florida State. But being on the road and playing better on the road is certainly got to be a point that that happens, you know, this year in our football program. You know, defensively, a lot of returners coming back. We excelled when it came to taking the football away. I think we're in the top 4 or 5 in the country there. Really, the most takeaways that I think 28 was the number in the program going back 7-8 years ago. And you know, when it came to yards per play and all that, it's all great stuff. But the key for our defense is get off the football field. And as the season went along, we did a better job of that early on. There were some times where we could have been better. And those led to games that came close. Those led to games that we maybe fell short. Offensively, I think it's just consistency. It's consistency in all areas. We want to have the ability to be balanced. You know, I mean, it doesn't mean that the statistics look equal when the game's over or the season's done, but the ability to run the football when someone's taking the pass game and vice versa, when the opposite happens. So I think, you know, more and more pieces coming together, the development of players at all positions. I'm excited about what we have there. An offensive line is where it really starts, really 6 guys that are strongly in the rotation with a lot of others that are up and coming and developing quickly that I could see, you know, competing for spots as the season goes along as well. When it comes to you know, overall as a program, physicality is the name of the game. When it comes to playing football, you wear the pads for a reason, right? And so physicality, that comes through the work to build your body. But that also comes through, you know, toughness mentally as well. So I love, again, the work is what we're focused on right now. The main thing, keeping it that. I love the mindset. You know, doesn't guarantee anything, but it gives you a great chance. So excited about 2 weeks from today. At this very moment, I think we'll be on the football field practicing practice 1. So it's come on fast. Media days usually represents you know, that type of kickoff and signifies that we're here. And so I'm excited to get the ball rolling. So.
That's Kalen DeBoer, head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide, at the podium here from day 3 of SEC Media Days. All right, when we come back, we will kind of read through the tea leaves. A lot in there, by the way. Really, really liked some of the things he just said to the media. We'll explain why next on McElroy Cubelic. Good morning, Jox 94.5. McElroy, Cubelic in the morning, Jox 94.5, 9:39 here, Atlanta, Georgia. Kalen DeBoer just wrapping up at the podium a moment ago. A lot of really good stuff. I listened to every second of his opening monologue. I really appreciated how he addressed the shortcomings head on. It was very specific. It's seldom that you have a coach up there at media days citing specific areas in which they came up short last year and what they've emphasized and focused on this offseason to avoid the similar fate. I mean, he addressed the challenges on third down early in the season, while also referencing the sheer quantity of takeaways they were able to accumulate over the entire year, one of the best years ever from a takeaway standpoint. He addressed the fact that they struggled on the road, that as opposed to playing as well as they did at home in the friendly confines of Bryant-Denny. On the road was a little bit of a different beast, and I think part of that might come with the familiarity between the coaching staff and the players. But he addressed all those things, Cole, and I just think his candor is refreshing. And it also helps me as a fan of the Tide. It helps me know, hey, he knows exactly what went wrong last year. He knows exactly what they failed at, so to speak. And here's what we're going to do this year to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Do you think it was more of a team issue of playing on the road, or was it more of an opponent issue, matchup issue of just who those teams were that they played on the road last year?
I think it's anybody's guess. I do think the quarterback play on the road was not great at all in some cases. Not necessarily at Vanderbilt. I thought Jalen played pretty well there. The defense that day, of course, you just ran into a buzzsaw. I mean, you get a team that's got the hot hand. They can't miss. And
I mean, you blasted LSU on the road.
You did.
You blasted Wisconsin on the road.
Correct.
It's just the Oklahoma game was a bit of a mismatch because they had the extra time and they put in some things that you weren't ready for.
Right.
And you just didn't play well.
The quarterback
didn't play well.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
The Tennessee game was – we can say same things, really.
Threw a pick in the end zone. Like, the quarterback didn't play well.
And Vanderbilt, you couldn't get the ball back.
Yeah,
I mean,
you couldn't get off the field on third down.
So,
he addressed it head on. I just not often I feel like guys are going up there and they're like, this is where we failed. Like, usually they're up there promoting the program.
Yeah, I
Here's
love
what
it,
we're
though.
doing. Here's where we're at. Like, people have long asked me, and I'm sure you get the same question, like, is Kalen a guy that holds guys accountable? Well, if he's talking about it, the shortcomings of last season in his press conference, you don't think that's front of mind?
Where does that question even come from? Like, what's the thought process when someone thinks that that's real?
Well, they think they see
just giving everybody a pass.
They see Malachi Moore act like a crazy person at the end of the Vanderbilt game, and they just sitting there.
Well, your quarterback did it in the Oklahoma game.
Yeah, well, don't get me started.
Well, no,
with
but I'm just like. You have made multiple statements about some of the addition by subtraction, and I was just asked about this a few moments ago. We were listening to that, and I said, I think Kalen DeBoer is excited about his team. I think last year he was excited about some of his players.
Yeah.
And this year he knows whether it's going to be ball distribution, whether it's going to be understanding the assignments in coverage, whether it's going to be guys wanting to help one another out, guys not looking out for themselves. I just think he feels better about the team that he has. And last year I think he could only feel good about some of the players that he had. And you and I both know that's a big difference. That's a very different place to be when you're heading into a season.
Well, in an effort to actually field a team, no one wants to talk about this. I don't know why this is like so taboo. In an effort to – there were 4 jobs open when Nick Saban retired. Bama, Michigan, Washington, Arizona. There were 4 jobs open. Every single one of those players from Alabama were getting recruited to other places. Every single one. Why? Because they all were highly decorated high school prospects.
And had been good college players.
And in some cases had been great college players. Every single guy on the roster was getting recruited, which you know how impossible that is as a coach. Like, we can't even – if all the guys that are being recruited decided to go in the portal, we literally can't hold spring practice. Like, I have to get these guys – I have to give them whatever they want just so that we can have a team for spring. Because if we don't have a spring practice, like, how are we going to install our stuff? I mean, there was a possibility they would have 4 offensive linemen
Right.
I mean, there was a possibility they wouldn't have a quarterback. There was a lot of challenge. So he had to give away so much control to the players in an effort just to retain the roster. And guess who else had to do that? Sharon Moore. Guess who else had to do that? Jed Fish at Washington, and then Brett Brennan had to do the same thing at Arizona. Look at those three teams and tell me what their seasons looked like. Michigan, prior to beating Ohio State and then finishing strong in the bowl game, beating Alabama, Michigan had, up until game 11, the worst record ever by a defending national champion. The worst ever. Now, finished strong, and that's great, but the worst national championship record ever for a defending champ. Washington went to the national championship, lost a bunch of good players, but also Washington was not empty and void of talent last year. They still had some guys. They went 6-6. Brent Brennan at Arizona, they had everybody back. Everybody. They returned 18 starters from a team that won 10 games the year before.
Yeah.
They went 4-8. They were the favorites in the Big 12, according to some, last year, and went 4-8. So if you look at Kalen's 9-4, and with a 9-4 with a win at LSU and a win against Georgia, to me, I think he did an amazing job in an impossible situation. Impossible situation. But now everybody that's on the team, they're there for a reason. They're there for Kalen DeBoer. They're not there for themselves. They're there for Kalen DeBoer. They're there for Alabama. They're there to win. And I think that last year you had a bunch of me guys. I think this year you have a bunch of guys that are really invested in Kalen's philosophy, because if they weren't, they would have left. Everyone now is in.
And could have left.
Could have left if they wanted to.
Yeah, a lot of those guys had places to go.
They chose Alabama. These guys chose Alabama. So I'm really bullish on the buy-in this year. And I think that will lead to more consistent performance. I think that will lead to a better connection between coach and team and coach and locker room. I think they're going to be really good. I do. Do they have question marks? Absolutely. Tight ends question mark. O-line's a question mark. Quarterback's a question mark. Defensive line depth is a question mark. Pure pass rush question mark. Yeah, they have question marks, but I feel pretty good about them.
There's a lot to feel good about. It's fair to question a couple of the things.
Of course.
It was interesting to hear Kalen kind of go into depth on the tight end situation, and he was pretty concerned. Told us straight up, it's a worry of mine. It's something that we've got to get altered and repaired, and those guys didn't go through spring, so it'll be a part of what we have to make sure that we shore up on. I think that the thing with Alabama is that, similar to a couple other teams in the league, is the ifs are big ifs. Quay Rusaw's got to be that guy, got to be healthy, got to play. The two inside linebackers have got to be healthy for the majority of the season.
Yep.
Okay, if you're losing for a game or two, depending on the game, it might not be that big a deal, but they need those two guys all year.
Yes.
I think the offensive line depth is very questionable. Now, might not be an issue at all. Might end up being a major issue. You never know.
You don't know.
But I feel fine about quarterback. I think the skill is going to be really good. I think the first offensive line they put out there has a chance to be really good. Still got to see them together. Still got to see Jaden Roberts healthy and understanding the plays. But Parker Brailsford's going to be great. It looks like Caden Proctor's got his weight down a little bit and maybe could take a step this year.
Contract year.
So there's a possibility. There's a lot of possibilities that could be real positives for this football team. I think they're going to have a really good year. I don't know if I stamp them as definitively the SEC champion right now, but I also wouldn't. I'm struggling to put that on anybody right now.
No, I'm with you.
Because I can't put that on Texas. I can't put it on Georgia. I'm not putting it on LSU. So I don't really have that team right now, which is probably good news for Alabama fans.
Great
that there's not that team right
Great
now,
news.
and you could be that team. So whoever
all you
finds
want's
ways,
a shot.
that's all you need.
Give me a chance. That's all I want is a chance.
It's starting to sound like what Kalen just said about his team last year. The team who handles those things is probably going to win the league.
Yeah, it's
playing
the
well on the
margins.
road,
Yep.
doesn't make mistakes, third down conversions,
Get
can
off
get
the
off
field,
the field.
red zone conversions.
Those are the teams that are going to win this
It's
year.
like the NFL. I mean, it really is. Everyone's talent's kind of comparable. I mean, it's not like one team's supremely talented and the others just aren't. No, it's kind of across the board. Everyone's real talented. Texas probably has the most, but it's not by a wide margin.
Right.
And they're an injury or two away from being in tough shape as well. Thank goodness for Trey Wisner. Like Trey Wisner last year, their running back, he has the year he has. But if he, for whatever reason, wasn't there, that's a completely different team. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I think there's a lot to be excited about. Kalen looks energized. He looks ready. I think last year, I don't want to say that it was like a scenario where he didn't really know what he was getting into, but how do you really know? Unless you've navigated the path, do you really know? You think you know, you hope you know, and he knows what it was like at Washington. He knows what it was like at Fresno. He knows what it was like at in Sioux Falls. But do you really know Alabama until you lived it? Because as someone from Texas, I thought I knew insanity as a Texas high school football player. Bama's another level, baby. It's the best. It's the absolute best, and you lean into that. But I think that probably there were things that took him by surprise at times last year. That won't happen this year. I'm really excited for him and excited for the team.
Absolutely. There's a lot to be excited about, with the Gusty Goulas Group as well. If you need to get into a new home, the Gusty Goulas Group can help. Why do we know they can help? Well, there's 850 or more 5-star Google reviews online about the Gusty Goulas Group right now, brokered by eXp Realty. Also, serve more than 3,000 home buyers and sellers in the greater Birmingham area. You can trust Gusty's aggressive and proven selling system. He's got what it takes to attract hundreds of qualified buyers who want your home. And I can tell you from experience, helping a family member of mine, getting people in the door to look at your home after that listing happens and getting top dollar for it is most likely going to take place with the Gusty Goulas Group. 205-542-1996, 205-542-1996, or go to GustyGoulasGroup.com. Better yet, Google Gusty Goulas Group and see what people are saying. So Kalen DeBoer, impressive at the podium, impressive with us. We obviously got a chance to hear from him on the show. I felt like he sounded confident, like you said, sounded energized. And I'll go back to what I said, Greg. I think he likes his team, and I think he likes what this actual team can be, maybe not so much this collection of players and how talented they may be or certain areas they may be able to excel.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to like. I'm totally on board with everything you just said. I think he's excited about having a bunch of guys that that want to learn, want to be with him. I think it's great. And now everybody knows what to expect. Everything different. Things are different. It's hard. I remember coming from Sirius to Jox. It's it's a morning show. How different can it be? Totally different. You know what I mean? Different lifestyle, different things.
Same,
It's totally different. And that's literally the same profession, just at two different places. Totally different experience. Took me a while to kind of get my feet wet and get comfortable. But now we figured it out. And I think that's kind of where things are with Kalen as well.
All right, we'll get to a quick break. Come back with more from the College Football Hall of Fame. Day 3 of SEC Media Days next on Jox. All right, more coverage from day 3 of SEC Media Days from the College Football Hall of Fame here in Atlanta. We'll talk a little Florida, talk a little Oklahoma on the other side. Dusty Dvorak going to be with us, Chris Dorian going to be with us. A lot more to get to right here on Jox. But first, Greg, tell our listeners about Shinar Flooring.
Well, Shinar Flooring is great. Food does such a great job. I love the inventory of Core-Tech flooring that they have in stock, and right now is a great time to go take advantage of those 40,000 square feet that they have in stock. Core-Tech's that waterproof, pet-proof, durable flooring that can upgrade the experience in your home. They're giving you $10 off per box when you order it through Shinar Flooring. So go and check it out online at footandyou.com.
Back for more of SEC Media Days next on Jox. All right, welcome back in. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning. We are live from the College Football Hall of Fame in Atlanta for day 3 of SEC Media Days. Going to talk to Dusty Dvorak of ESPN SiriusXM here in just a moment. But first, Greg, got to tell our listeners about Bromberg's.
Well, Bromberg's is my go-to spot. Going there for years. I've had so many people over the years be like, what do you get at Bromberg's? I'm like, what don't you get? You can get gifts for weddings. You can get beautiful jewelry, gold, silver, platinum jewelry, you name it. You can get watches. I mean, just the selection's incredible. But what elevates the experience are the people. I mean, just great people that can help you out. They've been in business for nearly 200 years. The people that were working there 200 years ago, not still working there, but
be impressive if they were.
The expectation level of people that have been shopping at Bromberg's for multiple generations doesn't change. They just continue to serve our community, and you can go and see them at one of their 2 locations. You can look them up online as well, brombergs.com. You can go and see them in Mountain Brook Village, and at the Summit, it's Bromberg's.
All right, Dusty Dvorak of ESPN, SiriusXM joining us now from Media Days on Digital Drive. I have to look, Dusty, because it used to be Radio Row, and I don't
Digital Drive.
I never remember
Digital
the name of that.
Drive.
But we are on Digital Drive, I guess. Greg and I had a little bit of a – Greg and I don't disagree much, and that's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. It's like yesterday how disappointed I was that you also had Anthony Hill Jr. as the best player in the SEC.
Did he tell you he stole from me?
No, he also went through a list of like 9 guys that he's like, I'm debating between these 9.
It's fair.
So
he jumped in before the question.
It's
of
not
the
true.
I'm going
Dari
first.
came to me first. It's not true.
Anthony Hill
Skip the line?
Jr. He's a great player.
Phenomenal.
I'm a big fan of his.
You skipped the line?
He did, well,
Dirty.
he just jumped right in front.
Dirty move.
You know, sometimes you got to be aggressive and just go for it. And
It's like with that shade nose, thinks
he
he's
shot-
got that
he
A gap
shot
to
the
himself,
gap.
and all of a sudden, whoop!
Hey,
Oh
can
man, he reached me.
Can I ask you guys a question real quick? I need some clarification.
Yes.
So because we had, I think he's right here next to us. Y'all talked to John McDade yet?
Not yet.
No.
Director
I know
of
where you're.
SEC
I know where you're
officials.
going. Yeah.
I'm pissed. Sorry if
Don't be. It's not. It's not. It's for an egregious act.
Okay.
And you know when it's egregious.
Well-
just like I do.
Okay, but there's a gray area, and let's just wait. So, because this has already been the case. So yesterday, the SEC is putting into effect what do they call it? It's essentially if the defensive lineman
Hold on, I've
moves
got
and
it.
draws the offensive lineman offside.
Yeah.
it's
The
gonna
move.
They're calling it the Georgia. It's the Georgia.
Georgia does
rule.
it, especially on second or on 3rd and 3. They'll do it just to get you in 3rd and 8.
Well,
A delay of game penalty on the defense if a defensive line shifts, causing
Yes.
an offensive lineman to jump. That is now a defensive penalty. First off, I don't think it's one guy. I think if I talked to him about it a few minutes ago. It has to be in sync. It has to be deliberate, and I think you, like I, know when you see it.
Because my problem with that is you are taking away yet another quiver, an arrow from the quiver of a defense. Like, okay, quit rolling your eyes, McElroy. Just listen. It's not a whole lot different than motion for an offense. It's not a whole lot different than, disguising your safeties.
But you remember,
you
Dusty,
wanna
there was a time on
disguise- you wanna
offense
disguise your
there was a time on
front.
offense when we used to come up to the line of scrimmage, and the military academies did this more recently than anybody, and you would say, down, and everybody would get down in the
I
stands.
know that.
But it's
But-
essentially
But
that
that wasn't
mindset.
a rule. That was just kind of.
But you're trying to basically get the defense to jump a little bit.
Right. I'm just saying, though, the defense has to have the ability to move the front. And the only way you can move the front in unison is to get a move call from a linebacker so that everybody can work in sync and in conjunction. And if we're going to work toward getting away from that and ridding that of the game, that's crap.
All
for
right.
you offensive guys.
Great. Now we're done with that high horse. Let me tell you why it needs to be outlawed, because it's Harry High School. It's literally
not Harry High
It is
School.
Harry High School.
It's-
It is Harry
Oh
High
my
School to the
God.
max.
Then why do you motion?
Well, motioning, you're creating a completely different look. Moving
that-
over one gap, you can do that at the snap.
To be fair,
Oh
you're
my
creating a different
gosh,
defense.
are you
No, you're
kidding
not.
me?
You're
What?
not going from an
Okay.
under to an over
Get
right
on him.
now with so
Get
much.
on him.
No,
What?
it's not that big a difference.
What?
You know,
For
it's
an off-
not.
for-
It's not.
To block up
For me-
runs,
for-
if
for
you
me it
move an
is.
entire,
It-
if you move from a 3 technique and you move and you stun it out and you moved all the way to that guy now becomes a shade or a head up nose.
Yeah.
You're telling me that doesn't change blocking assignments?
Let me ask you a question. Why did Georgia do it on 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4?
Look, I'm not.
Why was it that down? Why'd they do it then?
I'm not. This is what I'm telling you. I've played in defense for my entire life. We have always had move calls. Never one time in a defensive meeting have we ever discussed or talked about that being to draw the offense. Now, we have discussed and talked about this is going to completely change how they block us. And
Yeah.
we wanted to change how they block us because, it is
And I have seen,
it's
though, but
schematic.
I have seen, like you have, when a front moves or when a front deliberately altogether shifts
They are different.
quickly.
They are
And
different.
so I think the big problem is the act in which it's signified, like when that inside linebacker walks up and says, move, and everybody quickly does it.
Right.
Yes.
Because when we're just changing the look on defense, it doesn't need to be that rapid.
Right. We just so for us,
you
it
can
was always
slide
just
over
like
a gap.
Move.
Yeah.
Move.
Okay, you do it like that. We can live with that.
Yeah, it wasn't like a barking at the.
Tell me what George is doing.
That's their fans barking.
Thank you.
I mean, well, the crowd is so loud. These SEC venues.
Look. If you look
loud,
at when it's called at Georgia,
yell.
and by the way, it was within the confines of the rule. It's fine. It was part of the game. They did it at home only, and they did it on third down where you have run-pass option.
Right.
That's when they did it. And then as soon as they got you in 3rd and 8 because you jumped off sides, hey, here comes number 11. Here comes number 10. Here come the pass rushers, boys. They substitute real quick. Now you know it's obvious pass, and they're teeing off. So, I understand your thought process. Have we completely leveled the playing field? No, it's never going to be level. Offense will always have an advantage. We know where we're going on a play-in, play-out basis.
Yes.
We know where we're going. We're going to have an advantage. Now, you want to get rid of linemen downfield? Love that. I'm great with that.
Well, of course.
I think that'd be phenomenal.
Well, I hate center that has Ndamukong Suh over him that we always have the advantage.
I hate 3 yards downfield. I think it's ridiculous. 1 yard is more than enough. It works in the NFL. You can still do RPOs. You're making them quick enough. It isn't as ridiculous as it is. But you and I both know, based on how Georgia orchestrated the move, when they called it, where it was called, why it was done.
There is some strategy in there. That's fine.
I think so.
And if we want to get the Mickey Mouse stuff, I'm fine with. But being able to change structurally your front pre-snap, because let me just tell you something. Though Cole has that big, beautiful brain inside that bald head of his. For Cole and for Connor Lew and for Parker Brailsford, when the ball is about to be snapped and that look changes, things can go haywire. You can actually completely go and spaz out and blank out, and all of a sudden now that prevents you from doing your job properly.
Fair enough.
And that potentially prevents this play from working.
Correct.
That has to still be a part of football. And that was my concern.
And I don't think they're going to take that part out. I think it's a super orchestrated.
But if I'm an O-line coach, I'm training my guys that when they move, I'm moving. That is going to be, and I will be surprised if most offensive line coaches don't do that. That's going to be the count. I mean, and to where I just
you got to be careful with that because it's got to be within the confines of what they're trying to call.
But you know what I'm saying? Though?
I see what you're saying.
And so anyway, and by the way, if we're going to say that we can't go move, what about hard counts? What about you quarterbacks? Head, you got your hands moving, you got all kinds of stuff going on.
I did it when the count was on me. When it was a silent count, I would say go, and I'd bob my head real hard.
Would. Yeah, centers squeeze the football. They'll mess with you, man, especially
when
because we're trained to see any movement we go. I know centers will mess you a little bit. You get a little tweak.
Yeah, but so many teams are on the clap now. I love most when centers kind of get a feel for the rhythm and the cadence, and they get the defense they're kind of on their toes.
Yeah.
And they just have a slight hesitation.
Yeah.
Just all right, hey, clap, and then there's a slight hesitation. Let them rip. Then you go. Free play.
I think the biggest advantage.
I had 17 different cadences.
Oh, the biggest advantage that I had, and I'll just admit it now. I used to, on silent counts, I would leave a full second before the ball was snapped.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have a full step towards my outside zone before the ball was even snapped. I mean, I would be way over there.
Yeah.
I respect it. Okay, so.
Well, let me go to what we were going to go to a second ago. So we don't disagree on a lot of things.
Yeah, would you disagree?
We were having a conversation about some of Hugh Freeze's messaging yesterday about what he asks his defense to do to favor or give his quarterback some advantages to help build his confidence. Greg completely eye-rolled that and said, no big deal. I kind of like it because he's helping his quarterback gain confidence. My message was, I can't. It bothers me personally. So I need to know where you are on this. Because you heard it just
like I
I
love both
did.
you guys.
You also know Jackson Arnold.
You guys are great.
So it's great to get a perspective from a guy that knows Jackson Arnold.
My take on that when he told us that when we had him on Sirius XM yesterday, they got the kid gloves on Jackson Arnold. They are worried about his confidence. They
understandably.
I mean, that's just a dangerous place. That makes me nervous. That you're putting kid gloves on a guy who's now going to be a third-year quarterback in college and a second-year starter in the SEC. I mean, at some point, like, are you going to give a false sense of reality? That'd be my concern. Like, this is my, again, what do I know? But I wanted and I know quarterback is completely different than really any other position on the field. But I would want my guys, myself and my teammates, to have seen everything they're going to see and for practice to actually be harder.
That's why it surprised me coming from him. And you think his guy was holding defenses back on him?
Absolutely not.
No.
They were – I would imagine Coach Saban was throwing
quite the opposite.
Everything at you.
Quite the opposite.
And I would imagine – I don't know this. We've never talked about this. But I would imagine for you on Saturdays it was a hell of a lot easier than it was.
Yeah,
especially on Tuesdays and Wednesdays when it was full go.
No question.
And you were having to get full blitz packages.
Yeah, Rolando's checking. I'm checking. We're checking. We're MFing each other across the line
and
of scrimmage.
It made you better.
He knows your calls, and then you can't run that play into that defense, and they check to that defense. Like, yeah, it makes you better. But when you have a guy like you, tell me this: you live in Oklahoma City or Norman, like you were around Jackson Arnold.
Yeah.
Like, why is his confidence such an issue? Like,
it's fragile, bro.
Why? What's the deal?
I don't know. I didn't know that coming out of Denton. He's from right where I'm from.
Right,
We're from 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
And I got a chance to know him well, and he always kind of had like a little swag to him. So I just thought that's who he was. That's what he was.
Yeah.
When he struggled last year, his confidence it was broken, and I think maybe part of that is the fact that he got benched, as quickly as he did. And so now there's that fear of, oh, man, if I screw up, I'm going to lose my job. That's messed with him a little bit. Look, last year at Oklahoma, it was not a fair assessment.
No. Nothing
went well. Seth Luttrell is one of my very good friends. I love him like a brother. It didn't go well.
I love Seth to death.
Seth's one of my –
They didn't have any pieces. The
O-line
was a
lot
mess.
Of things. Seth had never coached quarterbacks.
Yeah.
He was the quarterback's coach. He hadn't called plays in a long time. He was put in that spot. The offensive line was decimated. The receiving room was
gone.
There wasn't one. You did their games. I'm sure you did in Oklahoma.
I didn't have
game.
one last year.
You didn't have one?
I mean, I know they didn't have a healthy receiver. They lost 5 guys.
The sport as well as anybody. They had nobody. And so it's tough. They couldn't run the football to save their life. They didn't have anyone to throw to. You had, over the course of 2 years with Jackson being there, had 3 different offensive coordinators. There's a lot. I don't want to make excuses for him, but there's a lot. But at some point, when he gets there with Hugh Freeze, like, it's just hard for me to rationalize that you're going to tell your defensive coordinator that, hey, we have to end practice with Jackson having success. Like, whatever you do, you make sure you dial it back and you let him win. I just haven't heard that before.
Yeah.
And he had no problem admitting it. And it just told me, he also mentioned just bringing him here. It was important to bring him here and for them to be arm in arm and to show Jackson that he had his back and that he was confident in him. And it just tells me that Jackson is still really struggling to find that confidence. And it tells me, too, this. The beginning of the season is going to be that Baylor game,
boys, massive. We've talked
holy
about it. It's huge.
And then obviously week 4 back at Norman. Yeah. And I worry about him. He talked about it yesterday. I worry about his psyche there, going back into that stadium against that crowd that turned on him. And I know you'd probably never experienced it. Maybe you did at the Jets. You probably never experienced it at Alabama. But, boy, I have seen when crowds turn on a quarterback, a home crowd, and it messes with you, man.
It's ugly, too.
It messes with your head. And I do wonder, I know he's going to be motivated and he's going to want to stick it to him, which is great. But I do wonder with the confidence issues and everything going on, and depending on what happens against Baylor, that first month of the season is going to be huge for Auburn football. It's going to be really, really big. I think it's going to be telling what the year is going to look like for Jackson Arnold.
Dusty Dvorak of ESPN SiriusXM with us right here on Digital Drive, not Radio Row, at SEC Media Days. How much of this, I didn't think of this yesterday, Dusty, when you and I were talking about it, could be how it went with Peyton Thorne last year? And I don't mean his success or non-success or that, but I mean, Dusty, I don't remember how closely you followed it because we were like in it. but some of the throwing Peyton Thorne under the bus a little bit. And he's backed those off this offseason. Like his interview with Chris Lowe, and Greg asked him about it yesterday, and he continued to kind of go down that path of, we didn't realize that receivers could have done some things differently. O-line could have done some things differently. It wasn't as much on him as maybe it appeared to be. Is he maybe trying to get ahead of that a little bit heading into the season?
Possibly. I'll just tell you, I did the Auburn-Missouri game, and which they had no business losing that game, which you could say that about a lot of games.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, another one. And I knew going into the game there had already been some comments. There was friction. And then when we did our coaches and players interviews, we had talked to Peyton Thorne earlier in the week. It was a road game, and we met with Auburn coaches in person in Columbia. There was something going on there. They did not see eye to eye. It was very clear. There was no direct shots, but it was a little uncomfortable. I don't remember a lot of situations, guys, like that doing games where it was so noticeable that the head coach and quarterback were on different pages.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, I think, again, I'm not sharing anything that you guys haven't covered, and isn't known, but it was very noticeable.
We did the Georgia game, and there was a 4th and 1 late in the game, and it was big down. I mean, they're down at one score. It's fourth quarter. They're in the they're driving.
Played them tough, man.
They're driving. It's like they're at the plus 45 thereabouts midfield, and it's 4th and 1. They got a chance. They can go in there and tie it up. Now there's some fear going on the Georgia sideline. They have a terrible broken play called, and I think you couldn't run what was called, so Peyton might have checked and didn't check to the right thing, and no one really knew, and it was a busted play on 4th and 1, which it just can't happen. Can't happen.
Yeah.
I don't care what you run. If they stop you fine, but you
Did
have
the
to
defense stem right before that snap?
not on 4th and 1. That's a rundown. They're not doing it there. But and they just, I mean, they were jawing at each other on the sideline. I mean, Peyton was mad at Hugh. Hugh was mad at Peyton.
Yep.
And I don't know what it was, but you could just tell there was some friction there for sure. So you sensed it. You knew it. I knew it. It just is what it is.
And so to answer, yes, I could see, because it seems to me like they are arm in arm.
Yeah.
Jackson's fully buying in on Coach Freeze. Coach Freeze is fully buying in on Jackson. They're going to be in this thing together.
Yeah.
For the good or the bad.
Sink or swim.
And so I like that, and I appreciate that. I'm sure last year, for Coach Freeze, look, I think anybody, successful people, you look at your failures or things that didn't work and you try to fix them. That didn't work last year, so how can we fix it? Let's not have this friction. Let's be together in this thing. I also want to say this too for Jackson Arnold. He is really talented. And he's going to have some dudes around him.
Yes.
I love Auburn's receiving corps. I think it's going to be fabulous.
Really good.
Eric Singleton's a dog.
Big-time player.
That addition was huge. I mean, Malcolm Simmons is –
I did 2 interviews with people here yesterday and brought his name up, and I said, it's amazing how many people don't know about him. And both interviewees said, I don't know who he is.
Oh, my
gosh. We're in
gosh.
Atlanta.
Oh, my gosh.
He's a top 20 player in college football.
Great player. And what surprised me, and this stuck out to me, I'm sure he said it to you, Greg, because you guys are doing this every day and living it. I thought, and we met with Connor Liu yesterday on SiriusXM, and boy, I loved him.
He's awesome.
Big Lou. He was impressive. He's a pilot, by the way.
Yeah.
Boy, it's a big cockpit to be putting my man in. That's all I'm saying. But I knew that they'd be pretty good up front. Cole said yesterday on TV, this grabbed me, that this possibly the best Auburn offensive line in a decade. And I thought, wow, you got that kind of O-line, that kind of receiving core. You want to talk about –
There's also been some really bad ones, so it's not like –
and I believe you. I'm not saying – I just think, wow. Talk about a stark contrast from where he was last year.
Fair.
Great offensive line, really good O-line, maybe the best – collection of wide receivers in the league. That's what Jackson Arnold's got to try to bounce back this year. I'm fascinated to see how it goes. But
I'm with you.
The way this whole thing started, it surprised me about the confidence thing. At some point, you just gotta you can't baby your players, I don't think. And we'll see how this goes. I wanted to mention to you guys because obviously it's your backyard. I'm high on Bama.
Same.
I'm high on Bama. I'll just tell you right now. I'm high on Bama. I'm high on LSU. I like both those teams a lot.
Yep.
And for different reasons. But I I haven't seen Kalen DeBoer yet. I know he's already here. I've read some of his comments. I can't wait to kind of talk to him, see how he is. I was at Alabama Pro Day. I just like the guy a lot.
I love him.
He's awesome.
I think he's a really good football coach. I don't know what in the hell happened in Norman last year, though I was glad it happened at the time. I don't know what happened. It's kind of an unexplainable thing of last season. I would be shocked if they're not back here. I would be shocked if they're on the playoff, and it would surprise me if they're not back here in Atlanta at the end of the year playing for an SEC championship. That's my expectation.
What are your big ifs with Alabama? If this happens, they're there. If this doesn't happen, they're not there.
I hate to say it all. It hinges on the quarterback, but it kind of hinges on the quarterback. I think to me, it's the best offensive line in the SEC. That's the way I look at it. Ryan Grubb's going to make a huge improvement. Ryan Williams, don't even have to say anything else. He is 18 now, by the way.
That's big.
I think they're going to run the football well, and I think this really going to. I think the defense can be really good. I love Deontay Lawson coming back. I think that D line. And I told you this yesterday. So two things: quarterback and edge rusher. Can Rousseau become that dude?
Yep.
I think he can. I think he's got the measurables. I think he's got the twitch and the explosiveness. He's got to go do it. And if he could be that disruptor off the edge, Alabama's going to be a really big problem for everybody on the schedule. The other thing you got to love, too, I mean, they get their tougher games in Tuscaloosa this year.
At Georgia's tough. But I'm with you. Like, I get it. Oklahoma's tough. That's at home. LSU's tough. That's at home. You're on the road to Auburn. You're on the road to Georgia. Those are two tough ones.
Georgia
Tennessee's
clearly.
at your place.
Georgia's, yeah.
But I know what you're saying. Like, all right, you already know. But Georgia at home's hard. Georgia
it
on the road's
matter
hard.
where
Who
Georgia
cares?
is.
Like, just tee it up. Like, it's going to be a
everything
hard
else,
game.
I look at the
Vandy at
schedule.
home, another tough one at home.
Gosh, can you believe he was in the
They're
booth
good.
for that last year?
I know.
Did a great job, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Went back and my game ended, and we watched the end of that game. You guys were great.
I was driving back listening to Chris Stewart and was beside myself. So I did not watch it and didn't go back and watch it.
You didn't pull it up on the
No.
It sounded a lot
the
worse like
ESPN
that
app?
than it
No,
did on TV.
I did not. I refused. I was driving home and listening to Chris Stewart, drowning in my sorrows. I don't even think I listened to another game after that. I just rode in silence back from Athens.
Diego,
You would have had some great explanations for what was happening offensively for Vanderbilt if you'd have
Too
watched.
sad. No. I watched the tape, but I'm not watching the TV copy. It was too painful.
Bama's going to be really good this year.
Yeah, they are.
They're going to be good.
Who else is in their category for you, as far as
I like
contenders for the SEC championship?
Well, I think there's several guys. I don't know how you feel. Like, I don't want to say, it's just wide open. Anybody can win it. I think clearly Georgia and Texas are the favorites to win it. I'm high on LSU. And I know a lot of things have to go right for Brian Kelly. They brought in pieces. They've got to mesh quickly. I love the addition of Brown and Anderson at receiver.
Yep.
I'm a huge fan of Pyburn, and I think Peyton's a really good.
Pyburn's perfect for that defense.
And especially like you have one side, you can kind of be your stud DN, and then Peyton can be on the other side, and he can kind of loosen up a little bit, and he can kind of be that guy that, kind of creates havoc, especially on third down. He was really good in 23. Helps that you had Jared Verse,
of course,
opposite him, and Braden Fisk on the interior. But I do think he's got length. He's got good first step. Got some bend to him. I like that. So I like those four. To me, they sit at the top. And then after that, I think it's interesting. I think out of Florida, Oklahoma, Auburn, I think those three teams intrigue me.
A&M, Missouri, South Carolina, I mean, they're all in there kind of.
Missouri's got it because of the schedule. Missouri's schedule is just it's outstanding.
I think we're selling Missouri's players short. They got some guys in places nobody wants to talk about them. I think they got some dudes.
You put them at they're probably in that next category, and especially with the schedule, that's fair. I don't know why. And I love Coach Beamer. South Carolina makes me nervous with the defense.
Same page.
I don't. They don't have the ability to replenish like some other schools.
It's fair.
And when you lose what they lost off at the D tackle room, Kyle Kennard, Debo Williams, Nicky Manwari, that's a lot, boys.
They lost 3 linebackers that could all go.
Yeah.
Tone setters.
Yeah. With Knighton, big body guy.
They like Murphy, the kid from Alabama and Florida State. They like him a lot.
but Shane Beamer's,
He's done more with less out of the portal.
And
than
Lenora
anybody.
Sellers, can play Superman.
Yeah.
I mean, he could put a cape on, as we saw. And how does Ole Miss not take a step back?
Defensively, they do.
They do, but this
offense is going to be something.
Austin Simmons kid could be real deal.
I like Austin Simmons.
Yeah.
But, I mean.
He's real, bro.
But the reason
the O-line's not going to be good.
The reason they weren't very good last year.
Don't tell them that.
They were great.
Don't tell them that.
Was it
Caleppo?
Was it you on a game that you did that
we
I was
did like
watching?
5 Ole Miss games,
Yeah,
so you did take your pick.
I think it was the Ole Miss Kentucky game when you were. I think you might have been harping on the O-line, which you were spot on. You were accurate.
Florida game too.
Oh yeah, they struggled.
Oh.
But how do they not? Look at they lost off their defense.
Oh, the D-line is not going to be close.
A linebacker room.
51 can go.
Yeah, big man inside.
When his pads are low.
He's 6'7". It's tough to play inside.
He's got Deontay Walker problem.
Yeah.
When he's low and he's going, but it gets casual at times.
Suntaran's a problem.
He is.
He's a great player.
But he's kind of like Harold Perkins. Where do you play him?
Yeah, just run him around.
I think he's better with. I think he's better with.
He can set an edge.
Involuntary contact.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sometimes.
What I mean though is that for his size, like
he doesn't have a real home.
He's the fastest guy on the team.
I know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And he's stout, but he's 220.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Are you a true second-level backer? No, you'd rather rush him. You'd rather be an edge, but he's kind of.
Is Oklahoma just coming down to the O-line? Is that pretty much? I mean, is that our only real concern?
A secondary. Yeah, I don't think it's a concern, but if you want to be real, I think linebackers will be good. The D-line's going to be excellent. This will be the best.
I think it's the best in the league.
It'd be the best D-line Oklahoma's had probably since Gerald McCoy was there.
15 years ago?
Long time.
Goodness gracious.
Best D-line.
They're deep. That D-tackle room is deep.
They've got 5 legit D-tackles. Yeah. Not many people can say that.
Nobody can say
They can roll. The real key, and you guys have seen him here in the SEC, can Marvin Jones Jr. just be consistent?
Yeah.
Because he's a flash player to me. Like every night, and he looks great. Boy, he gets off the bus.
He's first off the bus team, all mad.
He looks good.
There's a couple of Oklahoma guys that are first off the bus team. Like, whoa.
Look how big.
But
the linebacker transfer from Oklahoma State.
Oh yeah,
he's good looking.
Daniels, Kendall Daniels. Depends on where they. And I think he's going to play that cheetah position.
He's going to play the edge. He's going to be out there a little bit.
They're going to play him. I don't love him in space. I think he's best the closer you get him to the line of scrimmage. But boy, to your point,
he looks the part.
He's 6'4", 235, and
he is yoked
long and jacked up. But I can just tell you this: Bill Bedenbaugh thinks they're going to be a lot better. Bill, don't lie to me.
No.
The name to know, and you're going to love this kid, the Fasusi kid.
Yes.
Bill, I haven't shared this yet, but I'll just. Bill told me that he got a chance to be the best that he's coached, and that's. You're talking about a guy that all he does is pump out NFL offensive linemen left and right. He again, I don't like heaping too much praise on true freshmen. I just feel uncomfortable, and I think you set kids up for failure. But this isn't a hype train. He's already shown it, and he's going to play. He's going to be a big piece of Oklahoma's offensive line next year.
Well, thanks for hopping on with us, man.
Good
we
stuff,
appreciate
buddy.
it. Always
you guys
great.
are the best.
Enjoyed it. Great
Thank you, boys.
Love hanging out with you. Dusty DeBoer live from Media Days. We'll be back with Chris Doering next from Digital Drive right here at the College Football Hall of Fame. Welcome back in. SEC Media Days. Cole Cubelic, Greg McElroy, Mac and Cube in the morning. Live from the College Football Hall of Fame. Chris Doring hanging out with us now. This is not this one. You got to have the microphone.
Good point. I forgot. Yeah.
I
told you I was nervous.
We had Levy on.
Have live radio shuts you down.
We had Levy on earlier, and he just had the headphones on and was just talking to us like his first.
He gave us like first 3 sentences.
Well, it's deceiving because you guys got the mic attached to the headphones.
Right. It's hilarious.
We like to make our guests work hard.
Yeah.
So.
You do biceps. We just figured it looked a little better when you.
Yeah, just before I came up here after getting off, I did a couple curls, a little tricep push down.
Yeah.
So I told a story last week. My offensive line coach. Well, he's heard Rick Trickett's story.
I love the stories.
He used to. I had forgotten about this one. You go warm up and then you have like that stupid 10 minutes back in the locker room before the game. And then you go back out.
Yeah.
Well, we would go do that. He'd be like, "Get over there in the corner and get you a pump." And there was like one of the little curved barbells, and he would want us to go there and do curls.
Yeah.
He's like, "Go in there and get 50 curls in." He goes, "Those D linemen need to be scared."
We did that on the way when I was in high school down to Wet n Wild. We were in my buddy's convertible. We took a dumbbell with us, and we did some tricep extension over the head.
What kind of convertible? Like
I think
a
it was
Metro
like a
hatchback
Le Mans,
thing?
something like I don't know, man. It was
Mazda Miata?
No, it wasn't that cool. No. That's way too cool.
What did you drive in high school?
I had a 1972 Datsun 240Z, so it was older than I was.
That looked like the sports. Is that like the hatchback, sports car?
Hatchback, yeah, 3-door. So the worst part about it was rusted out in the back, so it sucked up the exhaust in the inside, and I would go places and people they'd be like, "Man, you just mowed the grass." I said, "No, I rode my car. You smell like gasoline."
Grass. That's not like a long trip down the interstate, dude. That could get dangerous.
Yeah.
It's
crack the windows.
A little carbon monoxide, but it's all right, man.
God, they don't make Datsuns anymore. You tell that to a lot of people, that'd be like us talking about working on CSS.
Datsun
what
was
that?
like the prelude to the Nissan.
Yeah, it was before Nissan was Nissan.
Yeah.
Man, unbelievable. Florida here today. Where should we feel best about this team?
I think on the lines of scrimmage, man. I've been impressed with the way that Florida's upgraded the lines of scrimmage. I was out there practice. They look more like what you think about Georgia and Alabama and the traditional powers here in this league. So I think they've done a good job of upgrading those positions, but also putting talent around DJ Lagway. Everybody's talking about DJ, and you guys know, I mean, he doesn't want to be responsible for winning all the games. I think you look at the running backs are about 5 deep there. Receivers going out and getting J. Michael Sturdivant and Dallas Wilson, who looks like a high school ready-to-go player. Vernell Brown, another guy from the high school ranks. Trey Wilson comes back healthy. So I feel really good about the pieces that they've surrounded Lagway with.
Looking at and so much of the conversation centers around Lagway. I think it's kind of lost. There was a belief, like he really made everybody better. There was a belief when he was on the field, but it really wasn't as good as you probably want to remember it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying just going back and watching and love him.
He's supposed to come on at 10:40. Can we bump him back so we can have him longer?
I'm supposed to go with David.
On Tech Tags at 10:40.
Yeah, slide. But I feel like they're.
I'll walk over there when we get done. Yeah.
And when I say that, I think people will lean into it as a negative. I lean into it as a positive because he really didn't play anywhere near as well as I think he's capable of playing.
He wasn't healthy, though, either.
You know what I mean?
Think about that, though.
Yeah.
For a guy whose style of play, maybe utilizing his legs a little bit more, the hamstring injury is certainly limited. But you know this better than anybody. Like, it doesn't matter how it looks. All that matters if you win ball games. I think the guy's 6-1 as a starter, but undefeated in games he finishes. So, I think he'll get better. I am disappointed that he missed the entire spring. Everybody talks about him being healthy, but that was valuable time to try to create some chemistry with some new receivers around him. But
do you like the wideouts?
I do. I love the wideouts. I
Really?
think that's one thing that Billy and his staff do really well is evaluating talent at the wide receiver position.
Because nobody made a big deal about Pearsall. Nobody
Chindike,
made a big Elijah Badger. No one talked.
Yeah.
I remember watching Elijah's Arizona State film. I was like, this guy can get it.
Yeah. And it put him in positions to utilize some of those skills that we hadn't seen necessarily before at Wisconsin, Arizona State.
Am I over my skis on Jaden Ball?
No, not at all. I mean, I think he and Jacoby Jackson.
If there was no Jacoby Jackson, I think Jaden Ball rushed for 1,800 yards this year.
With that offensive line, too, I mean, I'll defer to you on that, Cole, but I'm really excited. We'll get a chance to talk to Jake Slaughter today, who was, unquestionably a leader on offense there at the center position. But I think that offensive line has gotten better and better. And we know Billy wants to run the football first and foremost.
They'll ride a running back, too, which is what I love.
Yeah.
Not a lot of teams will give a guy 25, 30 carries, and Montreal had been that guy a couple times. And I don't know if they're going to do that with either Jacoby or Jaden, but you got guys you can if you want to.
It's nice to, like you said, get the hot hand the football, and I think that's what those guys start running better and better as the game wears on.
We've been going back and forth a little bit on Auburn today. You got a chance to talk to some of the Auburn guard yesterday. Where are you on where realistically this team is heading into the season?
I think Coach Freeze has been getting unnecessary criticism in the offseason. I mean, everybody's worried about the 2026 signing class. I mean, we're in July right now. It doesn't matter till the final 12th hour, when you sign the papers. But I think this is a team I think he needs to be criticized for not going out and doing something in the portal last year and riding Peyton Thorne, but I think they made a good move with Jackson Arnold, and I'm excited to see what he can do in this offense. It seems like both of those guys have a –
There's David right there. You're not even late yet. Yeah. The host isn't even there.
I know. All right, so we're good. But, yeah, no, I'm again, cautiously – I think there's a group of teams, Florida, Auburn, Oklahoma, that are all kind of poised to maybe be this year's kind of Tennessee.
See, I think that group's even bigger than that. I think Florida, Oklahoma, Missouri, Auburn, A&M, Ole Miss, Tennessee. I think they're all right. South Carolina.
Missouri and Tennessee were already there, so I'm not both those teams.
Fair. But I don't think the expectations for them to be back where they were.
But you look at Missouri's schedule, man, I don't think people are talking about Missouri enough. It's probably one of the more manageable schedules in the league this year. And I think you lose Brady Cook, but I think Kirby Moore and Drink deserve the benefit of the doubt.
They're going to be fine. Prubula is going to be fine.
Yeah.
I like him. He just got to stay healthy.
Yeah.
He's kind of reckless. I appreciate that. But if he runs it like he ran it situationally last year at Penn State, he's going to get smoked.
G-Mac, I'll ask you,
I
man.
appreciate that.
Are you as high on John Mateer as I am, everybody else
is? Oh, my
is?
God. He's amazing.
How great is it? How much fun is it watching him in that offense?
I think it's hilarious.
He reminds me of Baker.
He's got Baker qualities. Yeah. He's just a baller. Like that's how I describe. He just does things. His tape is like a little bit addictive. You know what I mean? Like I'm a bit of a junkie when it comes to just watching quarterbacks. Yeah. I love it. I really really enjoy it. Usually I can do a pretty good understanding of who a guy is in 3-4 games tops. I think I probably watched 8.
Yeah.
It's like it's probably because I want to see what he's going to do next. Mm-hmm. Whether it's throw it underhand or throw it behind his back or, do a spin move around attack. Like he's got some Manziel, he's got some Baker.
He's got a little Diego Pavia, too.
He's got some Diego Pavia. Like he's just a baller.
Yeah.
And he's got great feet in the offense. I just think it's hilarious how many people are like, oh, that's going to work down here. Like, all right, well, okay, sure. The team that he took the field with last year from a personnel standpoint, as far as the supporting cast, Washington State had guys, but not dudes. You know what I mean? Like they had solid football players, and a few of them are in different places now. I'll see how they do. But he was having to play against some pretty good teams in the Mountain West. Played against Washington, who had a good defense last year. Like he had to play against some teams that were pretty dang good.
Yeah.
And he sliced them up. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think he's going to be big time.
I've got them going 10-2. I've got him as my SEC Player of the Year.
I could see it. I mean, I
One
think
thing has to happen for that to take place.
What's that? Stay healthy?
Well, him, of course, but somebody else has to be healthy.
Who?
Deion Burks.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, that was the biggest tease of all, watching him
in the spring,
Purdue and then
the spring 2 years ago.
Yeah, no question.
He was. I mean, it was like watching Percy Harvin at Florida. Like the dude was unbelievable.
Watching some of the practice stuff from this spring with those two guys connecting was pretty fun to watch.
Yeah,
I think there's this group of players in this league that people just don't know about. Like we talked about Eric Singleton a little bit earlier. Deion Burks is in that conversation too. Of like, y'all need to know what these guys. Jaden Ball is in that conversation. Like you need to know what these kids are really capable of.
The one that
they can take over games.
The one that nobody talks about. I don't know if he's just forgotten or flown under the radar, and frankly the team by itself, no one's talking about A&M. KC Concepcion he's
big time.
He is a handful. Mm-hmm. Like he is a short list best football players in the entire conference. Like he is legit. So I think there's a bunch of guys that are in prove-it mode where they've been good other places, and it just maybe at this place they haven't had that chance yet.
Yeah.
Concepcion hasn't even played a game, but we have the all SEC team right now, all formulated in our mind what it's going to look like in the preseason. It's going to look vastly different, I think, at season's end, because people are going to find out what we might know and what we might not know about some of these guys coming up.
That's why I feel like coming here this year more than ever, it's more of an exploratory, figure things out rather than try to make these projections, because we just, with the lack of access during the spring and no spring games and guys moving around, it's tough to really tell.
I agree. I'll let you go.
All right, boys.
Got to get to another.
Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, good to
go
see
do
you guys.
Tech Sags. We appreciate you, Chris. Chris Doring of the SEC Network, ESPN, SiriusXM, talking some SEC football with us right here on WJOX. We are live at the College Football Hall of Fame. A little bit more to get to on day 3, not the last day, as I thought it was early this morning, of SEC Media Days. Next, right here on Jox. Welcome back in, SEC Media Days. Live from the Digital Drive here at the College Football Hall of Fame. There is no more Radio Row. McElroy will be on television following us exiting the air. 3-man front will be live right here from Atlanta after us. And we've talked to Mississippi State. Of course, we had the head coach on the show, Jeff Levy. We've talked to some Alabama, had Kalen DeBoer. Talked to Florida. You and I haven't talked a lot of Oklahoma. Is there anything you want to try to learn from Brent Venables today?
You know,
Or you
maybe,
think he'll give us that will be change our opinions at all?
He won't give us anything.
He'll give us a lot of names.
No one gives us anything.
He'll name the whole roster.
Whole roster. Yeah, I mean, I got to be honest with you. I think the team I'm most excited about today is probably Florida, because they are being slept on, especially considering how they finished. I mean, I'm kind of amazed at how well they played in November and how much noise they made in November and how much everybody all of a sudden loved Lagway and Napier, and I don't think anyone's talked about it. Of all the teams that finished as strong as they did last year, how many times have we discussed the Florida Gators this offseason? Isn't that wild?
Yeah,
the only conversation
about them a decent amount.
We have. I mean, but we talk. That's what we do. We talk about the things that other people don't talk about. But I feel like in just the grand scheme of college football, Florida's one of the biggest brands, one of the largest fan bases, one of the most profitable brands, and yet nobody has talked about them. Okay, maybe their basketball program, we talked about them. They won the national championship. But, when have we talked about Florida nationally? We're talking more about Baylor in
nationally
some cases.
is a fair point.
I mean, they're talking about Baylor and how they finished. They won 6 in a row to finish the regular. Look at what Florida did. I'm amazed at how much they are flying under the radar, especially with a game-changing quarterback and
Y'all go shopping?
the way they finished.
A little shopping? Okay, there you go. Lanzer and Pat will tell you what they bought at the College Football Hall of Fame. Oh, it's all wrapped up. I don't even care what it is.
Do you not agree, though?
I do agree. Not a lot of national conversation
Nothing.
there. But somebody who is talking is Thomas Castellanos. Apparently there's a video from Well Off Forever that has been posted. Castellanos talking to Isaiah Horton. Oh, you play with Bama. Y'all boys going to see them boys coming off 2-10. I just had to install some confidence. Thomas Castellanos not short on that. Thomas Castellanos, by the way, has 33 passing touchdowns and 19 interceptions in his career. So,
I mean, he's filling it up this offseason.
There's no doubt about that.
And you know what? It's a video that can probably be taken out of context. Like, he's having fun with a guy he's working out with or whatever it may be. You know, I don't put, a ton of stock into it, but my goodness. Like, you would think a guy that
I just get to the point where enough's enough. Like, let's just play the game. Like, we've heard what you have a lot to say. We've heard it. We get it. You think you're going to win the game. We got it. Now
Great.
Go win it.
I'm glad you do. But really not be fun to show up and not think you're going to try to win. But I also think, man, I mean, the guy got benched last year. He lost his job last year. Like, if nothing else, we're sitting here talking about Jackson Arnold's shattered confidence and how he's building himself back up. Like, where is this coming from? Because that's what I'm having a hard time understanding.
It would also not be a lot of fun to show up after saying you're going to win and not winning.
Yeah, but
that doesn't count.
Who cares? At that point, it's like, all right, well, at least I put myself out there, I guess. I don't know. It's just an interesting approach.
It's we'll see. I mean,
it's got to be false confidence. Like, it has to be. He's overcompensating for something. Like, I mean,
trying to convince himself that he's that guy.
Maybe I don't know. I mean, I just feel like it's a bold strategy.
So we were both impressed with Kalen DeBoer today, both with us and at the podium. Seems confident in his team, confident in a lot of the pieces of what his team has, and for good reason. And I do feel like there are more and more people that are showing that real confidence in Alabama. We talked to Dusty Dvorak a little bit earlier. You've begun to express how you're gaining confidence with this Alabama team and what they can be. Should the ceiling be rising for what Alabama has a chance to be this fall?
Yeah, I mean, as crazy as this may sound, I think they can win the national championship. Like, I hate to put that level of expectation on Kalen. I love the man. I really do. I'm so proud that he's our head coach. Like, I'm thrilled about that. I don't want to put unnecessary pressure. I mean, we want to support, that's what we want to do. But just looking at it from an analyst perspective, in a year in which there are question marks abound, the only two teams I feel like are sure things are Penn State and Clemson. Everybody else has major question marks. Major question marks going into the season. And Bama is one of those teams that if things got rolling, quarterback play is great, O-line's good, they stay healthy defensively in the front seven, they can win the national championship. I really believe that in my heart of hearts. And it's not false confidence. It's not, too much Bama in me. I really genuinely believe that this team can do it if the pieces fall in place the way I expect them to fall in place.
Well, it's there are good reasons for this team to have that, and I think one of the things that comes to mind when you say I think they can win a national championship is a little bit of what we talked about earlier in the show with Richard Johnson. I mean, how many of those teams are there out there for most people right now? How many teams are there that people say, I think they can go win a national title? Like he said Oregon, and I don't cringe, but I'm like,
they can.
I'm not going to say that they can't, but they're not at the front of the line for me.
No, but they're in the mix. I think there's probably 12 to 15 teams that can win it this year.
That's insane. If that's real, that's insane.
There's two sure things, Penn State and Clemson. The rest, the next 10.
And what's wild
Texas,
is people keep lobbing Ohio State in there.
I think they're in the mix because, I mean, there's still Ohio State. All right, Texas, Bama, LSU, Georgia. In the Big Ten, I think Michigan bounces back in a big way this year. I think USC is going to be really good. I know it sounds crazy. I really like SC though. I'm starting to kind of.
But we're talking about winning a national title. Though.
Talking about winning a national championship. I think Miami could potentially be that. I think Notre Dame could potentially be that. Like I think there's a bunch of teams. I think it's about 12. I mean, I really do, and that's a lot in a given year.
And then if some of these teams we've been talking about at SEC Media Days, a couple of things go right for them, all of a sudden, a Florida, an A&M, an Oklahoma.
You're off and running.
Then those teams could also be in that mix.
You're off and running. That's it.
Arizona State gets a couple things go their way. Are they past just a team that can make the playoffs?
I mean, winning a national championship, I feel like out of the Big 12 will be challenging just because you just will not have seen that caliber of player week in and week out. So it's going to be a bit of a wake-up call when you get to the show.
Here's a good one for you that I want to get your thoughts on. Can they? Illinois.
No.
Okay, mark them off the list.
Go ahead, you can mark them off.
So then they don't count this year.
Playoff contender?
All right.
Playoff contender, not a national championship contender.
Washington.
No.
Mark
playoff, but they are a team.
You don't count this year?
They are a team. That's not true. They're a team with their quarterback. That quarterback's pretty dynamic. Like, he could be a guy that's a big problem.
Utah.
Playoff, not national championship.
Mark, take y'all off the list. You don't count this year. Okay.
I love how they don't count. Like, what are we doing? What's wrong with you? Who are you?
I just
are you writing for AL.com now? Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah. We're heading over there here in just a minute. I'm just trying to think of other teams that maybe could.
I think Oregon's in that mix for sure.
Who said Oregon?
I think and then you have kind of the next tier where if the stars align and you have a magical year.
That's where I had Arizona State. That's where
Arizona State's in that category. That's the next tier down, though. That Arizona State, Oklahoma, A&M. Like there's a handful in that category where if everything goes right, the ball bounces your way, you win your coin flip games, you stay super healthy. Teams make mistakes when they play against you. Like that could absolutely happen for another team this year, which is not something that we're really all that used to, frankly.
So from the SEC, the teams that you would say right now can. Texas, Georgia, Alabama, and you would have LSU in there?
Yes.
The teams that can go ahead and do it right now.
Yep, they can do it right now. Yep.
All right, well.
You agree? Those are the four you have? You had more. Are you going last?
I think more has to go right for LSU than those other teams for them to win a national title.
I agree, but they have the pieces to potentially do it.
Might have the pieces.
May not, could, should, would.
I need to see those pieces on the field first. So they have a lot more maybes than I think some of those other teams. But, yeah. It's
totally fair.
It's one of the things that I've said is going to make this league so much fun this year. There are the teams that could extend. The middle of the pack is going to be so dynamic, so interesting. A lot more games are going to be decided by one score, come down to the wire. And then Greg Sankey will be able to get up at the podium and brag about how many one-score games he had next year. And that'll be a big talking point.
Competitive balance.
Great show today. Kalen DeBoer, Jeff Lebby, Dusty Dvorak, Chris Doring, Richard Johnson. You can get all those interviews back at the podcast, joxfm.com. Also, watch the YouTube back. We're back live from the Digital Drive again tomorrow from the College Football Hall of Fame. But you'll get more of SEC Media Days